Chapter 250 Buying Clothes. Chapter 250 Buying Clothes. Their attacks were extremely fast. In an instant the two attacks collided. With a hissing sound the icy frost flame quickly reversed. Li Lingtian grabbed it with one hand and disappeared. He was shocked. He didn't expect the ice flame to be restrained. While he was shocked, his mind spun rapidly. With a wave of his hand, the ice/fire ring appeared in front of him. The moment the ice and fire ring appeared, the light from the light condensing mirror had already hit him. His body swayed and he quickly retreated. 9 heavens of ice, destruction. The entire process was extremely fast. With just a slight pause he would be killed. When experts fought, not only did they need powerful attacks and defenses, but they also needed quick-witted minds and agile reactions. The ice/fire ring blocked the attack of the condensing light mirror. He circulated his true essence and raised his hands. A flame and a glacier appeared in his hands at the same time. The spiritual chi of heaven and earth rushed over, and an aura of death and destruction appeared in the air. He clasped his hands together, and a 3-colored pillar of light shot out. The pillar of light was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, it tore through space and arrived in front of Yan Mia. Ice/fire dual martial souls. Yan Lai destroy. Flame Extinguisher was shocked to see Li Lingtian's reaction speed despite being a young man with no cultivation. If he were in Li Lingtian's shoes, he would not have such a reaction speed. Feeling the death and destruction aura in the air, he was also extremely shocked. The ice and fire dual martial souls were extremely terrifying. Moreover, the opponent had fused the two extremes together. Needless to say, the power was naturally shocking. He did not dare to be careless at all. He circulated his true essence and used the Yin family's destruction skill. Immediately, a shocking flame with destructive power welcomed the pillar of light. Not far away, countless warriors were terrified and quickly ran away. Qing Ling was also shocked and worried when she saw the young master fighting in the air. However, the battle in the sky was completely beyond her imagination. She didn't expect her young master to be so powerful. She stared blankly at the sky. Rumble! A shocking explosion sounded, and the destructive halo and residual force scattered. Countless martial artists did not have time to escape and were directly destroyed. However, the buildings on both sides of the street seemed to be protected by arrays. They only trembled slightly before the residual force and attack were offset. In the air, the genius disciple of the Yen family, Yan Mia, who was floating in the air, had a huge change in expression as he spat out a mouthful of blood. Then cracks quickly appeared on his body. Finally, a mysterious light shot out from his body, and his true essence also exploded. His body quickly fell to the ground, and when he fell to the ground he was completely lifeless. A second-level martial emperor genius had fallen. The entire battle happened in the blink of an eye. The Yen family genius ambushed him, but he was killed in the end. It affects my mood. If you don't seek death, you won't die. Li Lingtian looked at the embroidered-robed man on the ground and the young woman who had been slapped. He held Qing Ling's hand and continued walking forward. They continued to move forward. It was only less than 10 seconds, but a second-level martial emperor genius disciple was killed in those 10 seconds. Even in Moonrise City, a martial emperor was considered a top-notch expert. It was not as if martial grandmasters were everywhere. This young man had killed a martial emperor. What kind of person was he? Let's go buy some clothes for you. Buy some pretty clothes, Li Lingtian said with a smile. The two of them quickly disappeared from the crowd's sight. Countless warriors had already fled and the street was empty. There was no one left. The embroidered-robed man on the ground had a dazed expression. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. He had caused trouble and harmed his own genius. He would be punished when he returned. The young woman had never thought that this white-robed young man would be so powerful. He looked to be only 17 or 18 years old. How could he be so powerful? Young master, they are from the Yin clan. Qing Ling was still traumatized by Li Lingtian's recent battle. Although she was not familiar with the influence of Moonrise City, the Yin family's name was well known. Hehe. This young master doesn't even put the small Yen family in his eyes. If I'm afraid of the Yen family, Can I still be considered human? The smile on Li Lingtian's face was calm. As he finished his sentence, he whispered into Qingling's ear. Yes. Qingling did not react in time as she answered directly. However, when she saw the change in the smile on Li Lingtian's face, she immediately realized that there was another meaning behind his words. She recalled the time when she was with the young master and her entire body felt weak. Her face was flushed red. Although she was already with Li Lingtian, she was still a 15-year-old girl. Young master, you bullied Qingling. Qingling quickly refused to comply. Soon she forgot about what happened and felt extremely shy. The two of them chatted softly as they shopped. Finally, they arrived at a clothing store and went in. Inside the shop, it was a colorful world. There were all kinds of clothes, ranging from a few spirit stones to tens of thousands of spirit stones. Please come in, sir. What kind of clothes do you need? Our shop has the most fashionable and beautiful clothes. A woman in her 30s stood up happily to greet Li Lingtian and his wife upon their arrival. Is there a separate place to try it on? Qingling saw the countless clothes in the shop and was extremely happy. However, if she wanted to buy clothes, she had to try them on. Yes, of course. Behind this is the VIP fitting room. The lady in the shop did not show any disdain when she saw Qingling's attire because she could see Li Lingtian's temperament. From Li Lingtian's temperament, one could tell that he was a young master from an aristocratic family. That little girl must have just been recruited as a maid. However, that maid was a top-notch beauty. Pick some first. I'll wait for you. Li Lingtian looked at the clothes in the store. They were indeed not bad. The quality and style were displayed here. However, the clothes in this world were no different from the clothes of the Tang, Ming and Song dynasties. Men's clothes felt like they were floating out of the world. Most of the women were wearing light clothes, revealing a bit of their breasts. If they were strong and full, they would be able to see a bit of their breasts. When Qingling bought clothes, he naturally couldn't watch over her. He only needed to give her spirit stones. However, Qingling dragged Li Lingtian in after choosing a dozen clothes, saying that she was afraid of being alone. Li Lingtian had no choice. He had seen every inch of this little girl's body, so naturally, he would not be rude. When the lady in the shop saw Qingling and Li Lingtian enter to try on clothes, a smile appeared on her face. Why were young girls nowadays so open-minded? However, she thought that this woman should have already become this young man. Otherwise, she wouldn't be pulling a man. Upon entering the fitting room, Li Lingtian and Qingling were surprised. This fitting room was indeed a VIP class place. It was a private room of 20 square meters. There were also refreshments and refreshments. It was decorated elegantly. Following that, Li Lingtian swiped his hand in the air and scanned the place with his divine perception. There was no array formation inside. He was relieved as he did not want to be watched. After witnessing what Li Lingtian had done, Qingling knew that this place was safe. He did not care that Li Lingtian was alone here as he removed his clothes. After taking off her clothes, Qingling's small face was flushed red as she quickly put on her new clothes. Young master, what do you think? Qingling shouted at Li Lingtian, who was behind her after she was dressed. And very good. This dress was specially made for Qingling. Only by wearing it on Qingling would it not be an insult to this dress. Li Lingtian noticed that Qingling was dressed in a light purple robe. It fitted her perfectly as if it was tailor-made. Her petite body and jade-like skin accentuated her beauty. Following that, Li Lingtian activated his Ice Soul Martial Soul. He only put away the cultivation technique after Qingling had finished trying on her 10th set of clothes. It was truly a torture in front of this little girl. Little girl, you'll have a good time tonight. Li Lingtian stood up and finally heaved a sigh of relief. He glared at Qingling with a sharp gaze. Humph. Qingling pouted her little lips and did not take it to heart. She leaned closer to Li Lingtian and a fragrance wafted into his nose. Her proud chest rested on his arm. However, she blushed even more when she heard Li Lingtian's words. Naturally, she understood what he meant. That time, she was knocked out by Li Lingtian. Qingling carried the clothes and the two of them walked out. I want all these clothes. Li Lingtian pointed at the clothes in Qingling's arms. Judging from her appearance, she liked all the clothes she had tried on. Moreover, he saw that Qingling didn't have any good clothes on her, so these clothes weren't worth much. Besides, as long as the woman he liked was happy, it didn't matter how many spirit stones he had. Sir, these clothes are a total of 490,000 low-grade spirit stones. The woman in the shop was surprised. She was really generous to buy so many clothes for a maid. Qingling didn't say anything, but her heart was filled with sweetness. However, when he heard 490,000 low-grade spirit stones, he was also shocked. 490,000 low-grade spirit stones. If he bought the clothes he was wearing, he would have to buy 100,000 pieces. When Li Lingtian saw Qingling's expression, he reached out and stroked her hair. It was only 490,000 lower spiritual stones. He would not hesitate even if it was for 9 billion. Qingling happily put the clothes into her storage bag. The two of them left the shop happily. They looked at the time and walked towards the auction house. Qingling had a smile on her face. However, she knew a lot about the outside world. She wanted to be a maid. Soon, the two of them arrived in front of the auction house. No matter where the Moonrise auction house was located, the largest auction house and shop were all named after the city. Chapter 251 Chapter 251 Jade Hairpin. Chapter 251 Jade Hairpin. When they arrived at the auction house, there were already countless experts entering. However, before entering they had to show their own token, which was also the token for entering and leaving the auction house. Welcome to the Moonrise auction house. Are you bringing her in? A Tier 3 martial arts grandmaster powerhouse was smiling when he saw Li Lingtian approaching. However, he was stunned when he saw Qingling beside Li Lingtian. Not bad. Li Lingtian nodded. However, he only had one plaque and there were no seats left for him to bring one person in. If you bring her in, you can choose a private room, the martial arts grandmaster said with a smile. He could not let go of such an opportunity to earn money. How many spirit stones do one need to pay for the private room? Li Lingtian asked directly. He had plenty of spiritual stones. It would be acceptable if Qingling was standing inside since she was a maid. However, if there was a private room, it would not be a problem for him to have one. Not much. As long as you add 1 million low-grade spirit stones, it will be enough. The martial arts grandmaster smiled apologetically. Those who could participate in this auction were not martial emperors. Martial emperors would naturally not care about these few spirit stones. Moreover, they were young and had brought their families with them. Naturally, they would choose a private room. Let's change to a private room. Li Lingtian looked like a spoiled brat as he glanced at Qingling and smiled. He then handed the 1 million lower spiritual stones and the token to the Wu Zong. Alright, please wait a moment. The martial arts grandmaster expert smiled and quickly put away the spirit stones. He took out a green token and saw the words 3 and 6 written on it. Li Lingtian took the token and left with Qingling towards the auction house. When they entered the auction hall, two passages appeared. One led to the hall, and the other led to the private room on the second floor. Young master, isn't this too wasteful? Qingling lamented when she saw Li Lingtian spending another 1 million lower spiritual stones. However, she knew that Li Lingtian was worried that she would not have a seat. For her sake, her young master had wasted 1 million lower spiritual stones. Do you want to stand? Li Lingtian said lightly. He opened the wooden door of the private room number 36 and entered the private room, half lying on the leather sofa. Although the private room was simple, it was not shabby. Moreover, it was exquisitely decorated. After Qingling closed the wooden door, she sat beside Li Lingtian and gently massaged his shoulders. Li Lingtian's face revealed a look of enjoyment. Time slowly passed as Li Lingtian enjoyed the gentle massage. The auction had just begun. However, before the auction began, Li Lingtian had already scanned the cultivation states of everyone present. All of them were martial monarch realm experts. There were more than 400 of them. He did not dare to be too impudent and immediately withdrew his divine sense. Everyone, welcome to the Moonrise Auction House. 1 a.m. Nangong Fei, the host for today. Li Lingtian peeked through the small window covered in gauze and saw a Tier 7 Martial Emperor Elder greeting the auction house with a fist salute. Everyone knows the rules of the auction house. You can't fight in the auction house. The highest bidder wins. The 10 items are all extremely precious treasures and materials. Moreover, this time we can use items to exchange for them. Nangong Fei said loudly, which immediately caused a lot of discussion. This way he could use a precious item to exchange for it. Those who had more spirit stones might not be able to get a treasure. Qingling, keep an eye on the items during the auction. I'm going to rest for a while. Remind me of every item. It was rare for Li Lingtian to watch these people compete. As long as there was nothing he liked, he did not have to bother with them. After saying that, she rested her head on Qingling's lap and closed her eyes to sleep. A faint body fragrance intoxicated him. This kind of life was free and easy. Qingling gently massaged Li Lingtian's head and nodded her head. She was elated that her young master would be willing to waste 1,000,000 spiritual stones just to get a seat for her. Time slowly passed. Every time an item or treasure appeared, Qingling would whisper the name of the treasure into Li Lingtian's ear. In a flash, the first 4 treasures had been auctioned off. When the 5th treasure was auctioned off, Qingling revealed a happy smile and an envious expression. Young master, the 5th item is a jade hairpin. It's a low-grade imperial weapon and a defensive treasure. It can withstand the attack of any martial arts grandmaster. Qingling said enviously, but she didn't show it. This kind of treasure was basically used by girls as an accessory. However, it could block the full force attack of a martial arts grandmaster and automatically defend. Li Lingtian ignored him and continued to sleep. Qingling could only watch enviously as the powerhouses competed. 40 million low-grade spirit stones. 4,300 low-grade spirit stones. 45 million low-grade spirit stones. 50 million low-grade spirit stones. The price soared wildly, and soon the price exceeded 100 million. Moreover, the competing experts did not have any intention of giving up. The experts who competed were basically women. Either the man had a woman by his side, or they were competing for the woman to use. This is not bad, 500 million. Just as Qingling was admiring him, Li Lingtian spoke indifferently. His eyes remained closed as if he was sleeping. However, this voice shocked Qingling. The price below was only a little over 200 million, but young master actually said 500 million. Although his voice was very soft, she heard it. Why would young master want such an item? 500 million spirit stones was an astronomical figure. Qingling, didn't you hear what one said? 500 million. Li Lingtian replied calmly when he saw that Qingling was silent. There was a hint of anger in his voice. This made Qingling feel uneasy. If she couldn't handle her young master's matters well, she would be neglecting her duty. Although she was young master's woman, she was still a maid. Qingling heard it. Qingling quickly replied. If young master was really angry, what would she do? 500 million. A crisp voice rang out. It wasn't loud, but it reached the ears of all the Force Emperors like a clap of thunder. Instantly, all the martial emperors were charred on the outside and tender on the inside. Not many people could take out 500 million low-grade spirit stones. He didn't expect that someone in a private room would actually bid 500 million for this low-grade emperor artifact. This item was obviously for a woman. Usually women would depend on men. For a man to bid 500 million for a woman, it was obvious that this person was very generous. 500 million. 500 million. What a big deal. He actually bid 500 million. 500 million low-grade spirit stones to compete for this jade hairpin. Shoo! Countless experts were shocked, but they did not dare to provoke the people in this private room. Countless divine senses quickly pressed over, but outside the private room, there was a restriction that blocked divine senses. They had no idea what kind of person was inside. 500 million low-grade spirit stones. Is there anyone else who wants to raise the bid? Nangong Fei was so happy that he couldn't describe it. This jade hairpin was worth at most 150 million. He didn't expect it to be sold for 500 million. He had made a killing this time. 500 million low-grade spirit stones going once. 500 million low-grade spirit stones going mice. 500 million low-grade spirit stones going thrice. This jade hairpin belongs to the distinguished guest in private room number 36. Nangong Fei said happily. Then he asked a maid to bring the box containing the jade hairpin to the private room. Soon, a young girl appeared at the door of the private room. There was a knock on the door. Qingling gently leaned Li Lingtian's head on the sofa and walked forward to open the door. Young master, young miss. This is the low-grade emperor artifact jade hairpin that you won. A young girl walked in. She originally wanted to see who had bought the jade hairpin for 500 million, but she never expected it to be a young girl and a young man. She was extremely shocked. Yes, give it to me, Li Lingtian said to the young lady as he sat up straight. Young master. Qingling received the box and handed it to Li Lingtian with an envious expression. When the young lady saw Qingling accept the box and heard her address the young man as young master, she immediately understood that this young lady was just a maid. Her face revealed a trace of disdain and jealousy. She looked down on Qingling's clothes, so she shouldn't be an important maid. She was jealous of Qingling's beauty. And not bad. It's a peerless low-grade emperor weapon. Defensive low-grade emperor weapons are even rarer. Li Lingtian sized them up carefully, completely ignoring the envious looks on Qingling and the young girls' faces. He commented as he sized her up, a satisfied expression on his face. Do you like it? Qingling and the young lady were astonished. They did not expect Li Lingtian to say such a thing and did not know if it was true. I like it. I like it. The two of them couldn't help but agree to come out at the same time. Who wouldn't like such a treasure? Moreover, it was the girl's favorite hairpin. If you like it, wear it. If you don't like it, throw it away. Li Lingtian looked at Qingling as he stood up and spoke indifferently. He then waved his hand to signal for Qingling to come over. Qingling was stunned. The young girl was also stunned. She didn't expect that the jade hairpin that this young man had won with 500 million low-grade spirit stones was actually for this poor girl. Don't you want it? Then throw it away. Li Lingtian raised his hand as if he was about to throw it away. His expression was calm and there was no change in his expression. Yes, yes. Qingling woke up and quickly walked over, but 2 streams of tears fell from her face. She had never felt such happiness, such sweetness and such warmth. It turned out that the young master had never forgotten her. This jade hairpin was also sold to him. He had used 500 million to directly crush all the experts. The jade hairpin that he had competed for was for him. Li Lingtian gently inserted the jade hairpin into Qingling's hair and nodded in satisfaction. Then, he handed 500 million low-grade spirit stones to the girl. After the girl counted the spirit stones, he waved his hand to signal her to leave. If they dared to look down on the people around them, they would regret it and be shocked. Qingling no longer cared about anything else as she snuggled into Li Lingtian's arms. The tears on her face kept falling uncontrollably. With a smile on his face, Li Lingtian reached out to wipe away his tears as he waited for the next auction. 500 million spirit stones was nothing to him. Only the people around him liked it. What was 500 million? Chapter 252 Chapter 252 Treasure Controlling Art 1. Chapter 252 Treasure Controlling Art 1. Following that, Li Lingtian continued to sleep on Qingling's lap like before. Qingling reminded him when it was time for the auction. He really didn't want any ordinary weapons or treasures now. Unless it was medicinal herbs and materials, he wouldn't be tempted by anything else. He had the herbs, the herb garden and the divine dragon ring, and his own divine weapon. He was an alchemist so he could refine level 5 pills for himself. He also had the recipe for level 6 pills. After that, the jade hairpin could be freely traded. During this period of time he could take a rest. What free trade? He wasn't in the mood to do so. His goal was a technique called the treasure control art. This spell was a heaven-grade existence. The only advantage was that he could quickly control his treasures and weapons. More importantly, although this treasure control art was at the heaven rank, it could control people and treasures of the same rank. This was also what he was most interested in. Otherwise, he would not have come to participate in the auction. Young master, aren't we going to the free trade? Qingling looked at Li Lingtian and asked in a coquettish voice. Li Lingtian's head was already in her arms, causing her heart to race. I'm not going. There aren't any good treasures in the free trade. Wait a moment, pay attention to the competition for the treasure control art. Li Lingtian sniffed and a wicked smile appeared on his face. Qingling blushed and dared not look at Li Lingtian. After all, this was not a cave abode. However, she kept Li Lingtian's words in mind and did not dare to make any mistakes. What made her even more embarrassed was that Li Lingtian's palm kept caressing her fair and slender legs. It was as if she had been electrocuted. Her little face was flushed red as she looked at Li Lingtian with her seductive eyes. She was filled with desire, but she soon regained her senses. They were outside and she dared not go overboard. Moreover, when she heard Li Lingtian say that it was night, her heart thumped faster. Then she snuggled into Li Lingtian's arms and enjoyed the warmth. The two of them enjoyed the spiritual fruits while talking. There were countless spiritual fruits in his divine dragon ring. He wouldn't be able to finish them even if he ate them every day. With the little beauty accompanying him, time passed very quickly. 2 hours passed and the free trade ended. In the auction house, the more precious the treasures and natural treasures were, the better they were. When it was time to trade for the 8th item, a faint smile appeared on Li Lingtian's face. Young master, is the treasure controlling art very good? Qingling saw the look on Li Lingtian's face. Needless to say, her young master was determined to obtain this treasure controlling art. However, he was curious as to what this treasure control art was for his young master to care so much about it. The treasure control art is a spell. It doesn't have any attack or defense. This spell is to increase the master's control over the treasure. Li Lingtian explained earnestly. He was never a child's play when it came to cultivation as it concerned the lives of others. If he misguided others, he would be harming them. This treasure control art was not useful for low-level warriors like Qingling. It was only useful for treasures above Emperor Artifact. After he finished speaking, he quietly waited for Nangong Fei to continue his long-winded speech. This was the most basic knowledge of an auction host. The more interested a warrior was, the more intense the competition would be. No matter what, when it came to competition, one would often not be as calm as usual. Otherwise, why would the items in the auction house be so much more expensive than those outside? Not only was the quality good, but it was also safe to come from. Moreover, martial artists were affected when they competed. However, there were also some martial artists who would do anything to get what they wanted. Spirit stones were just a currency. To high-level martial artists, spirit stones were just currency. In the eyes of low-level martial artists, spirit stones could also be used for cultivation. The 8th item is a magic art. This magic art is extremely magical. For a martial artist, possessing this magic art can increase their strength by a large margin. Because no matter if it's a low-level or high-level martial artist, they are powerless to control treasures. Now I've obtained a magic art to control treasures, called the treasure control art. I believe everyone has heard that the treasure control art is not an offensive or defensive skill, but it can allow one to have a better understanding of the treasure and unleash the greatest power of the treasure. One won't be long-winded. There's no need for me to introduce it. Everyone knows how magical this treasure control art is. The starting price is 10 million, and the minimum price for each increase is 100,000. Nangong Fei took out a strange animal skin after he finished speaking. All the warriors were stunned. Usually, cultivation techniques and skills were recorded in jade slips. This way, they could be stored for an unlimited period of time and would not be destroyed. It was very rare to see skills and cultivation techniques recorded in beast skins. The beast skin was only the size of a palm, but it emitted a shocking demonic power. With his cultivation as a martial emperor, he could tell that this demonic power had been sealed. Otherwise, the demonic power would be more powerful than this. It should be a treasure control art. Li Lingtian said softly. He had never seen the treasure control art before, but a magical technique like the treasure control art could only exist in ancient times. Because only in ancient times did powerful treasures exist. Thinking about it, this beast's skin should have belonged to a powerful divine beast. Using the beast's skin of a divine beast as a carrier to record cultivation techniques, one did not need to think to know that the treasure control art was not fake. A base price of 10 million. The base price is 10 million. Is the spell recorded in this beast's skin that powerful? Although this technique is at the heaven grade, it must be used by an expert with an emperor weapon. The starting bid is 10 million. For a moment, countless martial emperors were discussing animatedly. They did not start competing. One had to know that 10 million was only the base price. Moreover, this treasure controlling art was only a support type spell, and did not have any obvious help to ordinary martial artists. However, there were also people who were interested in this treasure control art, but they pretended to be indifferent. The more they did so, the more advantageous it was for their competition. 11 million spirit stones. A third-level martial emperor shouted out the price with a faint smile on his face. Seeing that no one was competing, he was naturally happy. If he had this treasure control art, his control over the emperor artifact would be even more tacit. When he used it in a big battle, he would be able to unleash the power of the emperor artifact even more. 12 million spirit stones. 13 million spirit stones. 14 million. However, he did not get what he wanted. After he shouted, 3 martial artists appeared behind him to increase the price. The auction house was silent. Li Lingtian's face revealed a faint smile. These people were acting too fake. The more it was like this, the more intense the competition would be. It was better to directly raise the price in front. Qingling, 100 million. Li Lingtian said calmly. Instead of competing slowly, it was better to do it with a bang. In case some bored people were dawdling here, a treasure control art still had to be so hypocritical. He was really speechless. Okay, 100 million. Let's see what their expressions are like. Qingling said happily. Her young master had a lot of spirit stones, so he didn't care about these spirit stones at all. She could tell from Li Lingtian's usage of spiritual stones that as long as the young master fancied something, he would get it no matter how expensive it was. He would not accept anything that he did not like even if it was sent over. 100 million low-grade spirit stones. A sweet and clear voice sounded. The sound of this voice always made countless martial artists speechless and helpless. Previously, 500 million spirit stones had crushed all the martial emperors. Now, the price was only slightly more than 10 million, but he had actually called out 100 million spirit stones. Does your family produce spirit stones? Or did you treat the spirit stones as mud? 100 million spirit stones? Aren't you looking for trouble? Hey, who are they? It's her again. I wonder where he came from to actually spend so much money. For a moment, countless martial emperors no longer cared about their status and began to complain. Last time they were crushed. Now she was the one who offered 100 million. Wasn't this a slap in the face? 101 million spirit stones. 120 million spirit stones. There was still a need for this treasure control art. 100 million spirit stones simply could not stop their determination to obtain the treasure control art. Li Lingtian did not say a word, but Qingling's face was filled with excitement. However, some of them looked scared and wanted to raise the price. However, the spirit stones belonged to young master, so they didn't dare to act recklessly. For a moment their hearts were itching. Do as you see fit. This young master wants this treasure controlling art. Although Li Lingtian did not look at Qingling, he knew what the little girl was thinking based on his cultivation, divine consciousness, and experience. He needed this treasure controlling art, and this little girl seemed eager to try it, so he would grant her this once. Thank you, young master. That's great. Qingling was momentarily stunned when she heard Li Lingtian's words. She then became excited and kissed Li Lingtian on her lips, acting as if she was showing off. 200 million low-grade spirit stones. It was that crisp and sweet voice again. Although it sounded sweet, in the eyes of these martial emperors it was terrifying. This was because this sound was an invisible attack. The attack could only be counterattacked with spirit stones. In the end, no matter how powerful one was, they would not be able to withstand the other party's attack. The auction house was also a great battle. It was not a battle of strength, but a battle of spirit stones. Whoever had more spirit stones would win. Chapter 253 Chapter 253 Godsoulwood. Chapter 253 Godsoulwood. Speechless, he collapsed. This was crushing, a powerful crushing, a silent crushing. He didn't show any emotion, but a few simple words had caused countless people to collapse and be shocked. Little girl, are you deliberately looking for trouble? A fourth-level martial emperor couldn't hold it in anymore. He was crushed by the voice twice. It sounded like a little girl. He looked sharply at Li Lingtian's private room. Although he could not use his divine perception to check the other party's cultivation base and appearance, he could still find the source of the voice. Qing Ling looked aggrieved, but she did not say a word when she saw Li Lingtian waving his hand to stop her. 201 million low-grade spirit stones. The martial artist who had just spoken increased the bid once again. This was also his bottom line. If such a terrifying competition appeared again, this treasure control art would brush past him. 202 million low-grade spirit stones. 210 million low-grade spirit stones. 220 million low-grade spirit stones. Behind him, a few martial royal realm experts tried to increase the bid to see if the voice would bid again. Moreover, their bid increased. As long as this girl didn't raise the price, they would be relieved. However, Li Lingtian had to get what he wanted. Naturally, Qingling understood that she had to return the favor after being scared by someone. 400 million low-grade spirit stones. Qingling looked at Li Lingtian, who was standing beside her, to test the waters. Seeing that Li Lingtian dared to raise the price to 400 million without saying a word, her heart began to pound. After bidding, she looked at Li Lingtian with her beautiful eyes. She was relieved to see that Li Lingtian was not angry. Her fair hands gently massaged Li Lingtian's shoulders as she loved him to the core. 400 million. Does the treasure-controlling art need 400 million? Little girl, you're courting death. Countless martial emperors were shocked, speechless. The fourth-level martial emperor who spoke first had a purplish face and could no longer hold it in. With a wave of his hand, an invisible attack was launched towards number 36's private room at an extremely fast speed. All the martial emperors were shocked. They actually dared to fight in the auction house. They didn't have spiritual stones, but they still went to find trouble with others. They were really speechless. An invisible attack, ordinary people could not see it, but in front of a martial artist's divine sense, there was nowhere to hide. Just as the attack was about to hit the private room, a cold flame shot out from the small window. The flame was purple-blue in color. Whoosh! With a soft sound, the purple-blue flames collided with the invisible attack. It was so fast that the invisible attack was nullified. However, the purple-blue flame shot toward the fourth-level martial emperor. Tisk! In the air, wherever the flames passed, they were completely frozen. Countless martial emperors felt extremely cold and could only circulate their cultivation techniques to resist the cold. As soon as he finished speaking, the fourth-level martial emperor looked at the sky in horror. His expression froze and he turned into an ice sculpture. His vitality quickly disappeared, and he did not even have the ability to resist. Shoo! There was an uproar, and all the experts were stunned. A fourth-level martial royal realm expert attacked first. In the end, he did not expect his opponent to break his attack and even lose his life. A fourth-level martial emperor did not even have the chance to resist. What kind of strange attack was this? Ice flame. Ice flame. The world's top 10 flames are also the world's top 10 mysterious ice. It's a mutation of ice and flames, and it's also a fusion. It can't be called ice or flames because ice has flames and flames have ice. This is the ice flame. I didn't expect such a cold ice flame to actually appear here. A thing like the icy frost flame, the natural enemy of martial artists, can actually be controlled so freely. It's too terrifying. With the ice frost flame, he's invincible among martial artists of the same rank. No wonder he has such a wealth. He's an expert who controls the ice frost flame. Could it be a supreme realm expert? Many martial emperors recognized the ice flame and were shocked. When they looked at the 36th private room, their eyes were filled with horror. 400 million low-grade spirit stones. Is there anyone else who wants to raise the bid? Nan Gongfei was speechless as he looked at the martial royal realm expert who had turned into an ice sculpture. When such a thing happened, it was supposed to be a fight in the auction house. However, the troublemaker had already been killed, so he had nothing to say. Moreover, this was a way out. He was also worried that the person in the private room was a martial honor. Although there were many martial honors in Moonrise City, none of them could be offended. He could only let this matter pass. Moreover, all the martial artists had seen that it was the 4th-level martial emperor who had caused trouble and was killed in the end. It was an easy instant kill. There was no shocking scene or impact, so it naturally could not be considered a fight. 400 million lower spiritual stones. Going twice. Anyone else? 400 million low-grade spirit stones going thrice. Congratulations to the person in private room number 36 for obtaining the treasure control art. Nan Gongfei finally let out a sigh of relief. If this competition continued, something terrible would happen. Although it was said that the more intense the competition, the better. If it was too intense, he was afraid that he would not be able to control the situation. At that time it would backfire. It was still the same young girl from before. She walked towards the private room on the 2nd floor with the treasure control art. Young master, this is the item you bid for. Please accept it. The young lady revealed a charming smile as she handed the box containing the treasure control art to Li Lingtian. However, Qing Ling accepted it. She then passed the treasure controlling manual to Li Lingtian. Naturally, she could tell that this young lady was seducing her young master, and would not let her have her way. If her young master liked her, she would accept it. However, a maid seduced her young master first and seduced him in front of her. Wasn't this a joke? Li Lingtian smiled when he saw Qing Ling's expression. He extended his hand and stroked Qing Ling's small face. Then, he took the treasure controlling art and carefully examined it. The beast's skin was definitely obtained from an ancient demonic beast, or even an ancient divine beast. Although this treasure control technique was carved on the beast's skin, it still required a powerful divine sense to be able to completely see through it. This was because the treasure controlling art was not limited to the hundreds of small seal characters on the surface of the beast's skin. After using his divine sense, he could see that there were countless array formations on the surface of the beast's skin. After breaking the array formations, he could only see the information inside. Ancient Spirit Sealing Array. Not bad. Li Lingtian activated his divine consciousness and put away the treasure controlling manual. He then began to count the spiritual stones in the divine dragon ring. With his powerful divine consciousness, he had finished counting the 400 million spiritual stones in just a few seconds. He handed the spirit stone over without even looking at the young girl. The young girl's expression clearly changed. This servant will take her leave. The young girl bowed respectfully and left the private room. Humph, rich kid, if it wasn't for the fact that my cultivation hasn't recovered, one would have killed you with one slap. The young girl left the private room and said angrily. She had never expected to be ignored by this young man twice. She had never received such treatment before. After saying that, she quickly covered her mouth and looked around. She was relieved when she saw that there was no one around. Then, he quickly brought the spirit stones back to the auction house. When he left, he did not forget to glare at private room number 36. After Li Lingtian kept the treasure control technique, he waited for the auction to begin. The treasures that came after should be pretty good. If he were to encounter precious materials and medicinal herbs, he would be able to compete for them. When Qing Ling saw Li Lingtian shaking his head at the 9th item, she knew that her young master did not like the 9th item. The two of them could only wait for the last item. It was not tiring for a man and a woman to work together, but while waiting, a man and a woman together did not feel bored at all. Naturally, Li Lingtian's palm was moving restlessly. Qing Ling could only endure his teasing. Finally, the 9th item was sold for 600 million. He could only be speechless. Treasures of the same level in different places and at different times had a huge difference in price. On the other hand, Qing Ling relaxed for a moment. Her delicate body felt as if it had been electrocuted and her heart raced. She was completely immersed in Li Lingtian's palm. If they were inside the cave abode, she would not have endured it like this. However, they were outside and she could only endure it. The 10th and final item. Nangong Fei was a little disappointed when he saw that there was no competition for private room number 36. However, he was more glad that he couldn't stand the overwhelming number of spirit stones. This item is a piece of Godsoul wood. An ancient Godsoul wood. I won't say anything about its use. If I say it, I'll be insulting all of you. There's no low price, no bottom line for raising the price. You can use whatever you have in exchange, as long as your own item can surpass the other parties. Nangong Fei said with a smile. As he spoke, a pitch-black piece of wood about a foot in size appeared in his storage bag. Rather than calling it wood, it would be more appropriate to call it iron. It was 1 foot long, 1 foot wide, and 1 foot high. There was no ore on it. Godsoul wood. There really is Godsoul wood. The Godsoul wood is one of the 5 ancient divine trees. It has a magical effect. When cultivating, it can protect a warrior's soul and increase the strength of the soul. Yeah, if I had a piece of Godsoul wood like this, my divine sense would be strengthened. All the warriors were shocked. Similarly, Li Lingtian did not expect the 10th item to be the Godsoul wood. This item was also arranged by the people in the auction house, so naturally, this news was not revealed. He naturally knew how powerful the Godsoul wood was. It was one of the 5 ancient divine trees. It was a legend in the divine martial continent. Not a bad piece of Godsoul wood. Looks like there will be competition this time. Li Lingtian's face revealed a smile. Qing Ling could not understand this smile, and did not know what young master was going to decide. She didn't know what young master was thinking, but she didn't guess at all. As young master's maid, she just had to do what she had to do. As young master's maid, she was also his woman. She could only silently support him from behind. She leaned against Li Lingtian with a blissful expression on her face. Chapter 254. Chapter 254. Wealth, Peak Duel, 1. Chapter 254. Wealth, Peak Duel 1. Countless experts looked at the Godsoul wood with greed on their faces. A martial artist's consciousness and cultivation were always proportional. Just like a martial soul, they were born with it. It was the same for the divine sense. The stronger the cultivation, the stronger the divine sense. Unless there was a mysterious cultivation method that specialized in cultivating the divine sense, otherwise, the cultivation level was directly proportional to the divine sense. However, Li Lingtian was an exception. As a person of 2 lifetimes, the fusion of 2 souls and the last soul of the Saint Lord of 9 Suns was also fused together. In his previous life, he was the 9-Yang Saint Lord. His soul was naturally incomparably powerful. The soul was the same as the consciousness. The stronger the soul, the stronger the consciousness. His martial arts grandmaster's consciousness was equivalent to the consciousness of a martial royal realm expert. Ordinary martial royal realm experts were not as powerful as his consciousness. Finally, someone couldn't wait any longer and started bidding. 2 million low-grade spirit stones. The bid was 100 million. It could be seen how magical and precious the Godsoul wood was. Moreover, such a treasure would be despised if the bid was too low. Although all the martial emperors were shocked by this price, they could only silently acknowledge it because this Godsoul wood was indeed worth this price. 150 million. Another martial emperor increased the bid by 50 million. Although it was not as shocking as 100 million, 50 million was still a lot. 200 million. In the private room on the 2nd floor, a calm voice sounded. It was also an increase of 50 million on the original price. 300 million. Similarly, this voice came from a warrior in the private room. It seemed that the real competition for the treasure was still the rich people in the private room. 400 million. In the auction house, an old man at the peak of the 8th level martial emperor shouted the price of 400 million coldly without any expression on his face. 500 million. Spiritual stones were as worthless as dirt. Every time the bid was raised, it would be 100 million. Instantly, hundreds of martial emperors in the auction house were staring blankly. Although he envied the Godsoul wood, he still needed to have that kind of wealth. Moreover, They were all extremely excited when they saw the peak battle between the powerful martial emperors. They looked even happier than when they were competing. Do you still want to play? Li Lingtian's palm caressed Qingling's perky buttocks with a smile on his face. Although she was only 15 years old, the places that should be developed had already developed perfectly. The texture was intoxicating and smooth to the extreme. Yes. Qingling replied excitedly. This kind of competition was extremely exciting. Although her cultivation was very low, she could use spirit stones to crush these experts. It was also a kind of joy. And looking at young master's current situation, he seemed to be interested in the god soul wood. All right, let's have fun, Li Lingtian said with a smile. The god soul wood was a legendary treasure that was rarely seen in 10,000 years. Naturally, he could not let it go. He could earn more if he ran out of spiritual stones, but the loss of these treasures meant that he would lose one more. Yes, Qingling said happily. Her face was red with excitement and she looked extremely charming. Seeing a gap, he started to ponder how much he should bid. Young master said that if he wanted to play, he should have fun. What was fun? It was to make everyone feel pressured and shocked. 2 billion. Seeing that the price had already reached 900 million, Qingling directly added 1 billion, instantly raising the price to 2 billion. Sure enough, the martial artists below did not speak. The original price of 900 million had already reached the limit of a martial royal realm expert. There were only 6 or 7 people competing for it. However, they did not expect that private room number 36 would actually bid 2 billion. Wasn't this a blow to everyone? Comparisons were infuriating. Martial emperors were already rich enough. Moreover, the martial emperors who came here were basically the top figures of a sect or the leaders of a sect. Otherwise, they would not have so many spiritual stones. However, compared to the people in the 36th private room, all the martial emperors were nothing. The few competitors in the private rooms on the second floor were also surprised. They were all extremely curious about the person in private room number 36. One can still take out 2 billion spirit stones. I'll add a 7th-rank demon beast inner core to the original price. A faint voice came from the private room on the second floor. 2 billion spirit stones was already the limit of the limit. Helplessly, he could only take out a 7th grade inner core. Only a rank 7 demonic beast had a rank 7 inner core. A rank 7 demonic beast had the strength of a martial emperor powerhouse. They did not expect someone to actually kill a rank 7 demonic beast with the strength of a martial supreme. Immediately, countless experts were incomparably shocked. A grade 7 inner core is indeed extremely precious. However, I have a 10,000-year icy jade heart here. I believe that this 10,000-year icy jade heart is even more precious than a grade 7 inner core. In the auction house, the old man who was at the peak of the 8th level of the martial emperor realm took out a piece of crystal clear cold jade with one hand. Suddenly, the entire auction house seemed to have entered a world of glaciers. That's right. A 10,000-year-old icy jade heart is more precious than a 7th-tier inner core. Is there anyone better than the heart of the 10,000-year icy jade? Nangong Fei smiled. No matter what, the price of this god soul wood was already 2 billion. With the addition of this 10 millennium cold jade heart, he would definitely make a fortune. When Nangong Fei asked this question, a few experts revealed a trace of regret on their faces. They had very good materials and treasures, even better than the heart of the 10 millennium cold jade, but they did not have 2 billion low-grade spirit stones. The heart of the 10 millennia icy jade is indeed not bad, but everyone take a look at this. Is it more valuable than the heart of the 10 millennia icy jade? Li Lingtian saw Qingling's helpless expression. No one could compete with her for spiritual stones, but since someone else had taken out a heaven-defying material, she naturally had no more. He didn't know if young master had any treasures, but he was sure that young master didn't have any. Li Lingtian could only shake his head when he saw the situation. He then spoke indifferently and activated the divine dragon ring with his divine consciousness. A fist-sized fruit appeared before him. The appearance of the fruit immediately caused the entire private room to become filled with spiritual energy. The spiritual energy spread outside, and the small window was opened. The fruit flew towards the auction house and finally floated above the auction house. In the auction hall, a 5-colored halo immediately appeared. The halo was filled with dense spiritual energy. The spiritual energy of the species was drifting in the air. All the martial artists were attracted by the bowl-sized fruit in the air. Under this spiritual energy, all the martial artists' spirits were roused. Immediately, their eyes revealed a greedy light. 5 elements spirit fruit. The real 5-star spirit fruit is the legendary 5-element spirit fruit. It was unknown who shouted, but there was excitement in his voice and a crazy expression on his face. After hearing this voice, all the martial artists went crazy because they were all martial royal realm experts. If they could get this 5-element spirit fruit, they could increase the chances of a martial royal realm expert advancing to the martial honored realm. Oh. Moreover, such a 5-element spirit fruit carried the chi of 5 elements. If a martial royal realm expert cultivated it, his cultivation speed would increase by countless times. It was definitely a heaven-defying treasure. It's indeed a 5-element spirit fruit. That's right. It's the 5-element spirit fruit. In the private room, a few experts said in shock. They were ranked 9 martial emperors and lacked the opportunity to advance to the martial honor realm. If they had this heaven-defying treasure, the opportunity to advance to the martial honor realm would come. Sai, the heart of the 10 millennium coal jade, is a precious material, but it's nothing compared to the 5-element spirit fruit. The expert holding the heart of the 10,000-year icy jade sighed. He knew his limits. No martial emperor could resist the temptation of a martial honor. Not to mention the other martial emperors, even he couldn't resist the temptation of the 5-element spirit fruit. If he had any wealth and treasures, he would definitely get this 5-element spirit fruit. If the other party took out such a fruit, his wealth must be shocking. Moreover, he was willing to take out the 5-element spirit fruit, so naturally he did not need the 5-element spirit fruit. Countless martial emperors had already regarded the people in the 36th private room as martial honors. If they were martial emperors, they would never have such a treasure, let alone take it out. Is there no one who can take out something better than the 5-element spirit fruit? Nangong Fei was also extremely shocked. His face revealed an excited expression. With this 5-element spiritual fruit, he could break through to the martial honored realm. No one knew that this god soul wood was his family heirloom. However, before he could finish, a voice interrupted him. Wait a minute. I can't just exchange this 5-element spirit fruit for a piece of god's soul wood. I want to exchange it for the heart of 10,000 years icy jade and the god's soul wood. Li Lingtian replied indifferently with a smile on his face. Qingling was stunned when she heard his words. He didn't expect young master to be so cunning. He didn't need to compete. When the time came, as long as that person got the god soul wood, he would give up the god soul wood in exchange for the 5-element spirit fruit. During this period of time in the cave dwelling, she had gained a lot of knowledge. She knew a little about the various rare treasures in the divine martial continent. Naturally, she knew how precious the 5-element spirit fruit was. It was a heaven-defying treasure. She had never thought that her young master would have such a treasure. Whoosh! There was an uproar. All the martial emperors were stunned. Who were these people? This was 2F geeking cunning. He actually used this trick. He was really speechless. However, the expert who held the heart of the 10,000-year icy jade revealed a crazed expression. It was obvious that number 36 had taken a fancy to his flirt of the 10,000-year icy jade and the god soul wood. He wanted to use one item to exchange for 2. Although they all knew this, no one had such strength and courage. Sir, this is in line with the rules of the auction house. Nangong Fei was shocked. The 5-element spiritual fruit in his hand flew away just like that. Wasn't this torture? Haha, rules are set by people. Besides, one didn't agree to exchange the 5-element spirit fruit for the god soul wood. Do you all think I'm a fool? The 5-element spirit fruit blooms every 10,000 years, bears fruit every 10,000 years, and ripens every 10,000 years. 5 fruits appear at the same time. However, they appear at different times. They will only ripen slowly after 5 fruits appear. In other words, a ripe 5-element spirit fruit will take at least 550,000 years. A 550,000-year-old 5-element spirit fruit is not as precious as this, Even if it's a heaven-defying treasure in the divine martial continent. Why would I return a piece of God's soul wood? In the private room, a faint voice spoke with confidence. Countless martial emperors were shocked. They didn't expect the experts in the private room to know so much about the five-element spirit fruit. Chapter 255 Chapter 255 The Deal 1 Chapter 255 The Deal 1 The martial emperors present were confused. If they wanted to exchange the five-element spirit fruit for the God soul wood, they could just go to the auction house because the 10,000-year icy jade heart and 2 billion spirit stones could only be exchanged for the God soul wood. Yet, he wanted the God soul wood and the heart of the 10,000-year icy jade. This was illogical. Unless there were 2 pieces of God soul wood or 2 pieces of 10,000-year frost jade. All the martial emperors knew that the expert in the 36th private room was not a fool. Number 36 had already taken out 500 million yuan to buy the jade hairpin, and 400 million yuan to buy the treasure control art. The 2 treasures were worlds apart, but the price he offered was also completely opposite. It could be seen that this expert was acting according to his own mood. He would use any means to get his hands on the items he liked. An expert who had already taken out 900 million was bidding 2 billion for the God soul wood. Such a huge sum was something that martial emperors could only look up to. This. Nangong Fei was already speechless. He couldn't make up his mind when faced with such a situation. Could it be that Your Excellency Nangong, the soliciting moon auction house is going to force you to buy and sell? That's right. One have 2 hearts of the 10 millennia icy jade. The hearts of the 10 millennia icy jade are divided into yin and yang. The 2 hearts of the 10 millennia icy jade appear together. The expert with the heart of the 10,000-year icy jade said coldly. Instantly, everyone understood that there really were 2 hearts of the 10,000-year icy jade. He didn't care about the influence of the Moonrise auction house. He only cared about his cultivation. He was at the peak of the 8th level of the martial emperor realm, which was the perfect time to use the 5-element spiritual fruit. How could he let go of such a good opportunity? He smiled faintly and looked towards private room 36. For a moment, the auction hall was extremely quiet. Nangong Fei didn't want to give up on the 5-element spiritual fruit. 2 billion low-grade spirit stones and the heart of the 10,000-year-old icy jade. This piece of God's soul would belongs to Sir number 133. Nangong Fei pondered for a moment. This time, the appearance of the 5-element spirit fruit had messed up his plans and ruined the reputation of the Moonrise auction house. In the end, he could only give the God soul wood to the martial royal realm expert number 133. The hammer struck down, and this piece of God soul wood also had a buyer. However, the buyer number 133 was not a real buyer. I'm curious, how did you know that I have 2 hearts of 10,000-year cold jade? 133 Tier 8 martial emperors looked at Li Lingtian's private room and asked seriously. His curiosity was the same as everyone else's, including Nangong Fei. He was initially confused by Li Lingtian before he gradually understood something. It was only when Martial Emperor number 133 mentioned that he had 2 pieces of the 10 millennium cold jade heart that he finally understood. I'll grant you your wish. You're an 8th level martial emperor. It would be a waste if this 5-element spiritual fruit was found elsewhere. However, with it on you, you'll definitely become a martial honor within 5 years. If you continue to inquire about everything about this young master, this deal will be off the table. Li Lingtian said coldly. With his ice soul martial soul, he had the ability to sense all water and ice-type treasures. Thank you for your help. Your eyes are as sharp as torches. As long as I have this 5-element spirit fruit, I can become a martial honor within 5 years. The rank 8 martial emperor in number 133 bowed respectfully to Li Lingtian's private room. His face was filled with respect and awe. That was because that expert had seen through his cultivation and mysterious cultivation technique. Everything about him could not be hidden from his eyes. I see. Everything is under his control. No wonder he wants the God soul wood and the 10,000-year icy jade heart. He already knew that there were 2 hearts of the 10,000-year icy jade here. We were kept in the dark. He is definitely a martial honors senior. No one can keep up with this kind of thinking. It turns out that he has already controlled everything in his hands. All the martial emperors finally understood. In the beginning he had confused everyone. No one knew what this move was. The martial emperors present were all confused by his words. They felt that something was wrong, but they could not remember. This was because he had used the 5-element spirit fruit to exchange for the god soul wood and the heart of the 10,000-year icy jade. However, the heart of the 10,000-year icy jade had been exchanged for the god soul wood, and the heart of the icy jade had fallen into the auction house. Nangong Fei had the heart of 10,000-year-old icy jade and 2 billion spirit stones, while the martial emperor number 133 had the god soul wood. It was impossible to exchange for two. Moreover, he had directly confronted Nangong Fei from the auction house, which had them completely baffled. Soon, the martial emperor number 133 had exchanged for the god soul wood. He then took out the god soul wood and the other piece of 10 millennium coal jade heart he had on him and asked the maidservant to deliver the two items to Li Lingtian's private room. Although he had used up 2 pieces of the heart of 10,000 years coal jade at once, he had obtained the 5-element spirit fruit. As for the god soul wood and the 5-element spirit fruit, they were worlds apart. When the transaction was completed, countless martial emperors looked at Li Lingtian's private room respectfully. "Young master, you even fooled me just now. I feel that it's very normal, but I feel that something is wrong. I just can't remember." One didn't expect that your words would be able to fool all the martial emperors. "Young master, you're so awesome." Qingling saw all of this and became excited. She didn't know why young master's thoughts changed so quickly. He had fooled everyone, and no one had discovered it yet. "Haha, you're even more powerful at night. It's just that they don't know that that guy has 2 hearts of 10,000-year coal jade in his hands. They were also stunned by our aura," Li Lingtian said with a smile as he reached out to caress her proud chest. Indeed, when they bid, they were so shocked that they had completely forgotten about the loophole in Li Lingtian's words. However, when they realized the loophole, they blushed and could only hide it in their hearts. Very soon, a piece of god soul wood and the heart of the 10,000-year coal jade were sent to the private room. It was still the young girl. But this time it was different from the last time. A trace of curiosity appeared on her face, as if she had seen through this strange competition. After a brief inspection, Li Lingtian put away the god soul wood and the 10 millennium coal jade heart. With a tap of his hand, the 5-element spirit fruit floating in the air descended. Force Emperor number 133 wrapped the 5-element spiritual fruit with a piece of gauze and put it into a jade box. Finally, the final transaction came to an end. Li Lingtian and Qingling quickly left the auction house and headed to their cave abode. In this auction, all the martial emperors were depressed. They were suppressed and played by others. It also allowed them to see what wisdom was. One by one they left gloomily. By the time Li Lingtian and the others came out, it was already late at night. "Young master, do you think Nangong Fei will find trouble with us?" Qingling tugged at Li Lingtian's sleeve as the two of them walked quickly. However, she was worried that Nangong Fei would cause trouble for her young master. "Yes, but not now. Moreover, there are already blind people coming," Li Lingtian said calmly with a murderous look on his face. In his line of sight, 3 powerhouses were standing in front of them. It seemed like they had been waiting for them for a long time. Qingling also saw the 3 experts in front of her, and her face revealed a trace of fear. Countless experts who came out of the auction house hurriedly left when they saw this formation. This was because they had clearly seen who the 3 experts in front were. These 3 experts were not people they dared to provoke easily. The Yen family had 3 experts from the outer circle, and they were 5th-level martial emperors. They didn't make a move, but the air was filled with an oppressive and strange aura. The 3 rank 5 martial emperors formed a triangle. "I finally found you. You're courting death for provoking the Yen family," Yantian said coldly. In the afternoon, when they heard that the disciples of the Yen family had been killed, they were all shocked beyond words. It was beyond their imagination that someone dared to provoke the Yen family in Moonrise City. Although countless martial emperors did not dare to provoke the Yen family, they were watching the show from afar. No one knew who Li Lingtian was when they walked out of the auction house. This was because the private room was shielded from the divine sense, so they could not see the person's appearance. Li Lingtian had a smile on his face as he completely ignored the three martial royal realm powerhouses. He did not want to fight with three martial royal realm powerhouses here. His lips parted slightly, but no one could hear what he was saying. If you can kill 3 ants in 10 seconds, I'll let you reach the martial honored realm within a year. If you can kill 3 ants in 20 seconds, I'll let you reach the martial honored realm within 2 years. A voice transmission was sent out, and then he stopped talking. Qingling didn't know what young master was saying because the secret voice transmission couldn't be heard by outsiders, unless the person's soul consciousness was extremely powerful, and surpassed the person's soul consciousness. Alright, but I have to leave Moonrise City for a while after killing 3 ants. Where can I find you? In the dark, an 8th level martial emperor sent a voice transmission. This 8th level martial emperor was none other than the old man at the auction house. In Moonrise City. As long as you can show up in Moonrise City within 10 years, I will know of your existence immediately. Even if you go to the ends of the earth, one can still find you. Li Lingtian's voice was calm as though he was a superior. As the two of them transmitted their voices, the killing intent on Yan Tian and the other two's faces became even stronger. The true essence in their bodies circulated to the extreme. That was because they had received news that Flame Extinguisher had been killed in the blink of an eye, and so had a martial emperor. The other party must be powerful. Otherwise, they would not have 3 rank 5 martial emperors. Blazing Flame Force. Heavenly Wind Violent Slash. Overlord Saber. The 3 of them hovered in the air as 3 destructive attacks formed an intersection point and slashed down at Li Lingtian. Such an attack would kill even a tier 7 or 8 Atartial Emperor. The destructive attacks from the sky arrived before Li Lingtian in the blink of an eye. However, Li Lingtian did not move at all as he stared coldly at the 3 incoming attacks. Qingling's face turned pale. She had never seen such a scene before. She could only hug Li Lingtian's arm tightly with her little hands. Just as the attack was about to land on Li Lingtian and the other 2, Yan Tian and the other 2 revealed a look of horror. 3 attacks were directed in another direction. Chapter 256 Chapter 256 Yin Family 1 Chapter 256 Yin Family 1 Countless experts were shocked to see the 3 attacks forcefully change direction. They all looked behind the 3 experts. In the air, he saw a man dressed in black with a black cloak on his head, covering his entire body. It was unknown when the man in black had arrived in the air. A destructive attack was launched at the 3 martial emperors. A shocking cold air appeared in the air. At the same time, the light of the attack arrived in front of the 3 martial emperors of the Yen family in the blink of an eye. Rumble! The 3 attacks collided with the light. The light trembled for a moment before it ruthlessly crushed the 3 of them. Pucci! The 3 rank 5 martial emperors were completely crushed to death. In the blink of an eye, the black-robed man's body flashed and disappeared in the air. With a faint smile on his face, Li Lingtian pulled the trembling Qingling forward. When he passed by the corpses of the 3 martial emperors, his face revealed a look of disdain. Then he walked into the distance. In less than half an hour, Li Lingtian brought Qingling back to the cave abode. All the experts were shocked when they saw the 3 martial emperors of the Yin clan being killed. It seemed that the black-clothed expert was the young man's subordinate. Otherwise, why would he kill the 3 martial emperors? Moreover, the young man didn't show any change in his expression from the beginning to the end, as if he knew the result. Young master, who is that man in black? Qingling leaned against Li Lingtian and was still afraid. The might of 3 martial emperors was something a warrior could not resist. It's its master. Li Lingtian took out the 10 Millennium Coal Jade Heart from the Divine Dragon Ring, and spoke calmly with a smile on his face. Are you saying that the black-robed martial artist is the expert who traded for your 5 elements spirit fruit? Why would he help you kill the Yen family's expert? Isn't that offending the Yen family? Qingling said in confusion. It was hard to imagine that an 8th level martial emperor would offend the Yen family just because of a few words from young master. He wondered what other powerful methods his young master had. He had crushed all the martial emperors in the auction house, and even took out the legendary 5 elements spiritual fruit. It was hard to imagine that his young master was an omnipotent god. If I can help him reach the supreme realm within a year, he will naturally not be afraid of the Yan family. No matter how powerful the Yan family is, they will not dare to offend a supreme realm expert. Li Lingtian said with a smile. As he kept the 10 millennium aged icy jade heart, he extended his hand and stroked Qing Ling's body. A moment later, Qing Ling let out a soft moan as she leaned weakly into Li Lingtian's arms, allowing him to do whatever he wanted. Today, she had been teased by Li Lingtian several times, but she had to endure it forcefully. Now, she no longer had to endure it as the fire was ignited at the slightest touch. When Li Lingtian saw Qing Ling's expression, he wrapped his arms around her and carried her into the room. The room was instantly filled with moans, and the spring scenery was infinitely beautiful. While the two of them were making love, the Yan family's expert's face was extremely gloomy. The Yan clan was a transcendent existence in Moonrise City, even older than the 10 great clans. No one knew how long the Yan clan had existed. Some of the experts could not put their finger on it. They could only feel that the Yan family had been here since Moonrise City had existed. Although the Yan family's influence could not compare to the 10 great families, no one from the 10 great families dared to provoke the Yan family. The Yan clan was like a hermit powerhouse in soliciting Moon City. However, in recent years, the low-key Yan clan had become unbridled in Moonrise City, and people could not understand them. The Yan family was located in the west of the soliciting Moon City. They occupied an area with a radius of 100 miles. To be able to occupy such a large territory in a place like the main city, the Yan family must be very powerful. Even if the 10 great clans were to be combined, they would not be stronger than the Yan family. No one dared to challenge the Yan family's position. Even the disciples of the Yan family had become the representatives of the second generation and ruffians in Moonrise City. They did things without any scruples. However, today someone had killed a disciple of the Yan family. Now, 3 5th-level martial royal realm genius disciples were killed by the opponent's expert in one strike. How could the Yan family not be furious? How detestable! He even dares to kill a disciple of my Yan family. Does he think that the Yan family has no one left? Yan Yuetian said coldly. The Yan family did not cultivate fire martial souls because of their surname. On the contrary, many martial artists in the Yan family cultivated water and ice martial souls. The more orthodox the bloodline of the Yan family was, the more successful the ice and water martial souls they cultivated would be. Other martial artists needed powerful martial souls, but the Yan family had an innate advantage in bloodline. He was a peak rank 9 martial emperor in Yenhua Heaven. He had been the head of the family for 200 years and had never made any mistakes. He did not expect that the disciples of the Yan family would be killed in Moonrise City. It would have made sense outside, but in Moonrise City it was a slap in the face. Patriarch, this matter can't be so simple. Think about it. Even the top 10 families wouldn't dare to attack us in Moonrise City. Besides, the other party is so powerful that they can kill us in an instant. They should be experts from outside. Yan Feng muttered to himself for a while before finally speaking. It was not an exaggeration to say that he was the resourceful star in the Yan family. Almost all of the Yan family's ideas were made by him. Although his cultivation was not strong, he was smart. Even the family head was polite to him. More importantly, Yan Feng's father was one of the top 3 experts of the Yan family. A martial honor. Who would dare to provoke the father of a supreme realm expert? However, Yan Feng was only a 4th-level martial emperor. He was like a tiger father and a dog son. Third brother, do you have any good ideas? Yan Yuetian looked at Yan Feng and asked. He knew that it was not easy to kill the Yan family. If it was the 10 great families of Moonrise City, they would not have the guts to do so. Outsider experts should more or less understand how powerful the Yan family was. If they ignored the Yan family after knowing how powerful the Yan family was, they would be worthy of attention. I've received news that the person who killed Yan Mia with a wave of his hand is a young man, about 17 or 18 years old. Beside him is an ordinary maid. And this young man has no cultivation at all. A person who can't even tell the cultivation level of a martial emperor can actually kill a martial emperor's Yen Mia with a wave of his hand. Is that possible? Therefore, the only possibility is that this young man is a terrifying expert. Also, just now, after that young man came out of the auction house, he didn't resist at all when he saw the 3 destructive attacks. Then, the 3 of them were killed by a man in black. If I'm not mistaken, the man in black is the young man's subordinate. 3 rank 5 martial emperors were killed in an instant even though they joined forces. Unless they were a powerhouse at the peak of rank 9, we wouldn't dare to make a decision so easily. Yin Feng started to analyze carefully. More than 10 martial emperors in the hall listened carefully. When they heard the last part, their faces revealed a terrified expression. Then what does third brother think is the best way to deal with this matter? We can't just let it go, right? Yin Yuetian's expression turned solemn. His Yin family had been acting without restraint during this period of time, but now they were in a dilemma. Let's observe this matter first. If the other party doesn't have any background, we'll directly eliminate him. This way, not only will our Yin family's reputation not be damaged, but it will also increase our Yin family's prestige. Besides, father and second uncle are at the final stage of their cultivation. If they can master that move, Moonrise City will be the Yin family's world. It might even become the most powerful existence after the 10 great super families. Yin Feng's face revealed an excited expression as he finished speaking. The skills cultivated by the 3 Supreme Realm experts could destroy the world. Moreover, at the last moment, this was also the greatest reliance of the Yin family. Ha, not bad. Third brother is really able to see through it. That's right. When the 3 elders have mastered that move, soliciting Moon City will be the Yin family's world. At that time, our Yin family will have a place in the Azure continent. Arrogant laughter rang out in the hall of the Yin family. Moonrise City, which had seemed calm and peaceful, was now facing a storm. The next day, Li Lingtian woke up and looked at Qing Ling beside him with a contented smile on his face. He was impressed that she was still smiling even though she was fast asleep. This little girl had already become a perfect woman under his own development. After lazing around in bed for a while, he got out of bed to cultivate. He only practiced a few earth-grade skills once. As long as he cultivated, he would still be comprehending the wrath of the gods. However, he was unable to use this move, which puzzled him. He slightly tidied up the items he had obtained from the auction yesterday, and a faint smile appeared on his face. Although the heart of 10,000-year icy jade couldn't compare to immemorial ice crystal and profoundine ice crystal, it was still very helpful to ice fire 9 heavens. What he valued was still the god soul wood. Although his divine sense was powerful, when he controlled treasures it was still a little difficult. If he had the god soul wood, he could strengthen his divine sense again. In the future, his spiritual sense would surpass those of the same level by even more. The items he obtained this time were all support type, and the treasure control art was the same. It did not have any offensive or defensive abilities. However, in Li Lingtian's opinion, this treasure control art was born for him. If he could control his treasures well, the power they could unleash would increase, and his strength would increase greatly. After cultivating for an hour, Qing Ling had already finished cooking. Just as she was about to eat, Qing Yun came outside the cave. Qing Ling was elated to see her brother. Although Li Lingtian was around, Qing Yun was her brother whom she had to rely on. Brother, you're here. Young master is inside. We're about to eat. Hurry up and go in. Qing Ling opened the restriction outside the cave and shouted happily. She pulled Qing Yun's hand and walked inside. Yes. When Qing Yun saw that his sister's cold aura had been removed, he was also extremely happy. However, he realized that his sister had changed from a girl to a woman. Then he understood. Qing Ling was young master's maid, and her sister was naturally beautiful and charming, so she was naturally accepted by young master. Although he was a little disappointed, he was more happy for his sister. With young master around, naturally no one would dare to bully Qing Ling. And looking at Qing Ling, she was also willing. Young master was a genius. and all the girls in the world would fall for him. His sister was naturally the same. Moreover, he had also received news that what happened yesterday was done by his young master. Since he even dared to provoke the Yan family, it naturally wouldn't be so simple. Chapter 257 Chapter 257 Massive Pill Refinement 1. Chapter 257 Massive Pill Refinement 1. Qingling Yuan Young Master. Qing Yuan still asked his younger sister for confirmation. If his younger sister followed young master, it would not be a problem. If she followed someone else, he would not agree. Yes, young master treats me very well. Qingling's face turned red. She naturally understood what her brother meant. However, she felt very happy when she thought about how she was with her young master. Then, the siblings walked into the garden behind the cave abode. Greetings, young master. Qing Yuan bowed respectfully to Li Lingtian. He was excited when he thought of what happened yesterday. A martial monarch had fallen with a wave of his hand. Moreover, his young master was only 17 or 18 years old. If he waited a few more years, his strength would be even stronger. In addition to what happened last night, he had also guessed that his young master was a disciple of an aristocratic family from a super force. Otherwise, he would not have such a powerful martial emperor subordinate. 3 rank 5 martial emperors had died under one attack. Yes, sit down. Li Lingtian nodded as he spoke calmly. He then gestured for Qingling to refill the bowls and chopsticks. As long as he could do his job well, he would not be harsh on his subordinates, nor would he care about etiquette. Courtesy, and respect should come from the bottom of his heart. Thank you, young master. A smile appeared on Qing Yan's face. He admired his master even more. If it was an ordinary aristocratic family's disciple, he would definitely not let his servants eat together. Naturally, he did not know that Li Lingtian had invited him to dine with him partly because of Qingling. Soon the 3 of them finished their meal. Qingling went to clean up while Li Lingtian went to the garden and laid down leisurely on a chair. Young master, what happened yesterday has spread like wildfire in Moonrise City. I wonder what you plan to do next. Qing Yuan stood respectfully at the front and looked at Li Lingtian. He was filled with admiration for Li Lingtian's leisure even at this stage. 2. Go find a shop. I want to open a pill shop. The location doesn't have to be too good, just passable. Alright, go and make a plaque. Carve it as the Divine Pill House. It's 3 feet wide and 5 feet long. Also make a blank plaque of the same size. Take care of everything within 10 days, including the members of the pill shop. Li Lingtian said lightly. He closed his eyes and enjoyed the fragrance of the flowers in the garden. After saying that, he waved his hand and Qing Yuan respectfully took his leave. Although he was surprised that young master had opened a pill shop, he only needed to carry out what young master wanted to do and not discuss it. Following that, Li Lingtian instructed Qingling to help him refine pills while he went to refine some pills. Fortunately, the elixir room in this cave was very complete. With the fire of the earth's core, he did not need to consume too much true essence. I should refine a grade 1 pill first. Li Lingtian sat cross-legged in the alchemy room as the heaven and earth creation cauldron appeared before him. Then, with a flick of his soul consciousness, countless storage bags appeared in front of him. These storage bags were all obtained from the warriors he had killed before. He didn't want to bring these herbs into the herb garden. He could refine these herbs now to avoid wasting them. Qingling, sort out these herbs. Li Lingtian chose a few cauldrons of herbs first while Qingling handled the rest. He could refine the herbs he chose first as he would not waste any time. Don't worry, young master. I'll leave this to Qingling. Qingling was extremely happy. She didn't believe that she could refine pills. Most pill refiners were old men with weird tempers. His young master was so powerful that most of his time was spent on cultivation. It was impossible for him to refine pills. After saying that, she began to organize the pills. During this period of time, her cultivation had also reached Tier 4 warrior, so she was still able to organize the medicinal ingredients. Li Lingtian did not say anything else. Instead, he suspended the heaven and earth creation cauldron above the geocentric flame and cast a series of magic arts. Her movements were elegant and clean, causing Qingling to be stunned. Was this still pill refining? 10 minutes later, Li Lingtian had finished refining a cauldron of grade 1 pills. Qingling was stunned. She did not expect her young master to be an alchemist. Previously, when Qingyun took out the pills, she suspected that her young master could refine pills. However, refining pills required luck and talent, so she could not believe that Li Lingtian could refine pills. Now that she saw Li Lingtian's focus and ease in refining pills, she was completely mesmerized. Pinnacle grade. Essence cultivating pill. Li Lingtian waved his hand and a series of light shadows appeared before they entered a jade bottle that he had prepared beforehand. There were a total of 89 pills in this cauldron. After keeping the pills and continuing to refine them, Qingling woke up as well. She carefully examined the pills Li Lingtian had refined and was instantly shocked. It was truly a peerless vitality pill. Following that, Qingling remained in shock because Li Lingtian's refining technique was ethereal and unrestrained. It was like an art form and was not as old-fashioned as the legendary alchemy. Furthermore, Li Lingtian had succeeded in refining pills every time and he had never failed once. Every time he refined pills, they were of peerless quality. Little girl, where are the herbs? If you still haven't finished tidying up these medicinal herbs, I'll make sure you get it tonight. After Li Lingtian had refined the 7th cauldron of pills, he stared at Qingling's proud chest and felt his blood boil. There were a total of 603 pills in 7 cauldrons, and they were stored in 6 jade bottles. He had only spent an hour or so. Such pill refining speed was simply comparable to 5 people. If other pill refiners saw it, their jaws would definitely drop in shock. Yes. Qingling was shocked because Li Lingtian only had 1 cauldron of herbs left. Upon hearing Li Lingtian's words, her little face flushed red. Every night, whenever she went to look for her young master, she would feel so satisfied that she would fall asleep. She nodded softly and quickly sorted out the medicinal herbs. Just like that, Li Lingtian spent 10 hours refining pills every day. He spent the first 3 days refining Tier 1 pills and the next 3 days refining Tier 2 pills. In the next 2 days, Li Lingtian refined Tier 3 pills, which were all peerless pills. In the last 2 days, Li Lingtian refined Tier 4 purple jade pills, which similarly raised the quality of Tier 4 pills to the peerless level. However, he didn't refine any 5th grade pills because he still had a lot of them in his divine dragon ring. Moreover, 5th grade pills were very expensive and few people could afford them. For the next 10 days, Qingling only helped Li Lingtian organize the herbs for an hour every day. The rest of the time was spent on cultivation and cooking. She would accompany Li Lingtian when he was resting. After 10 days, Li Lingtian had hundreds of bottles of pills in front of him. There were 150 bottles of grade 1, 2, and 3 pills each. Moreover, they were all of the best quality. The refining of grade 4 pills took longer, so he had refined 50 bottles in 2 days. During this period of time, he also felt that his pill refinement speed was much faster than before. Qingling was already numb to the pills Li Lingtian had refined. These medicinal pills should be enough to sell for a few days. Li Lingtian said with a smile. 10 days had passed, so he believed that Qingyun had already completed his task. Young master, it would be a pity to sell these pills. It's better to keep them for cultivation. Qingling looked at the pills. They were all peerless and high-grade pills. She had never heard of peerless pills in the divine martial continent. She could not bear to part with these medicinal pills. If she took these medicinal pills out and sold them, it would really be a pity. You little girl, this pill is nothing. If I want a pill, I can just casually refine a little. My cultivation is not high, so I can only take high-grade first-grade pills. However, it is indeed not easy for me to refine high-grade pills. You have to cultivate quickly. Once you reach Tier 8 or 9 warrior, you'll be able to consume the peerless vitality pills. When your cultivation level increases, you won't lack pills. Li Lingtian smiled as he caressed Qingling's hair. This little girl was afraid of being poor. In the past, she was tortured by the cold air and did not have spirit stones to cultivate. She rarely even bought clothes. Thank you, young master. Qingling will definitely work hard. Qingling thought about it and agreed. She had followed young master and never lacked pills, so what was there to worry about? Moreover, the status of alchemists was transcendent, and no one dared to offend them. If he followed the young master, he would be even safer. No one would dare to bully him. The two of them chatted for a while. Qingyun came regularly, and 10 days was not much time at all. Young master, the matter of the pill shop has been settled. It's on Cloud Street in the main city. After Qingyun bowed, he took out 2 signboards. They were 5 feet long and 3 feet wide. One was blank, and the other was engraved with the words, Divine Pill Pavilion. The words Divine Pill Dispensary were carved with vigor and strength, giving off a strong aura. Li Lingtian nodded in satisfaction. We'll open for business at noon tomorrow. Get someone to wait for us. I'll personally oversee the business tomorrow. As Li Lingtian spoke, he placed the blank plaque aside. Then his body flashed and he executed a set of natural and smooth body movements. At the same time, he waved his 10 fingers and shot finger force at the plaque. Small seal characters appeared on the plaque. Qing Ling and Qing Yun were stunned. A strong cultivation was the strength of a martial artist, but to be able to use finger techniques to such an extent, they had never heard of it. Moreover, the small words on it were vigorous and powerful, but it did not lose elegance. After a full 20 minutes, hundreds of small words appeared on the blank plaque. The small words were extremely neat and did not give off the slightest feeling of confusion. It was clear at a glance, giving people a clear feeling. The price of the medicinal pill was engraved on it, as well as the ratio of the medicinal herbs to the medicinal pill, as well as the name and year of the medicinal herbs. Qing Yun was stunned. He did not know that Li Lingtian could refine tier 3 or 4 pills, let alone imagine that Li Lingtian was a spirit alchemist. However, on the plaque, grade 1 to grade 4 medicinal pills were all peerless existences, and grade 5 medicinal pills were also high-grade existences. If such a pill was taken out, it would shock Moonrise City. Moreover, the names of the medicinal herbs on it were all extremely precious. There were also the names of more than 10 precious materials. These medicinal herbs and materials were easily 10,000-year-old. It seemed that the opening of the elixir store this time would definitely shock the entire city. However, thinking about it, the things that young master did were all shocking existences. Every single thing he did was earth-shattering. After that, Qing Yun returned and instructed his subordinates to spread the news. At that time, countless martial artists would know how powerful the Divine Pill Pavilion was. Chapter 258 Chapter 258 Divine Pill Pavilion. Chapter 258 Divine Pill Pavilion. He did not refine pills for spirit stones. Instead, it was to obtain more precious herbs and materials, because countless treasures and precious materials were buried among ordinary martial artists. Another main purpose was to use medicinal pills to attract more experts and establish their own forces to make themselves stronger. It did not matter if he was strong alone. Only when his power was strong would no one come to provoke him. No matter how powerful a person was, he could not withstand the suppression of countless forces. He had always understood this principle, but he had never had the opportunity or time to implement it. Now was a very good opportunity. When an opportunity came, he had to seize it. If the opportunity passed, it would be difficult to find another opportunity. Early the next morning, countless martial artists gathered in a relatively spacious place on Cloudy Street. Although they were all warrior spirits and warrior kings, these martial artists were the class that spread information the fastest. It was already noon when Li Lingtian brought Qing Ling to the elixir store. Moreover, there were more and more warriors here. However, countless martial artists were impatient. The opening of a pill shop actually tormented people like this. After he arrived, he entered through the small door at the back so that he would not attract anyone's attention. After entering the elixir store, he nodded his head in satisfaction. This elixir store occupied a large area, which was equivalent to a large mansion. There were more than 10 rooms inside with 2 entrances and 2 exits. Such a pill shop was already very big in Moonrise City. Money made things easier. Qing Yun had hundreds of millions of spiritual stones in his possession at all times. Even though he had so many spiritual stones in his possession, he kept a clear record of every spiritual stone He used and reported it to Li Lingtian every few days. What medicinal pill shop? It's actually not open yet. Isn't it too ostentatious? A warrior spirit was getting impatient and started complaining. After he finished speaking, it immediately caused a lot of discussion. That's right. There are at least 8,000 elixir stores in Moonrise City, if not 10,000. This elixir store is actually putting on airs just by opening. Let's see what kind of elixirs they have. It's better not to be too embarrassing. I don't think it's anything. I don't believe that there are any high-grade medicinal pills here. If there are high-grade medicinal pills, do you still want to sell them? You can just use them yourself. Opening an elixir store in Moonrise City? Isn't that giving those alchemists a hard time? For a time, countless martial artists started discussing. After waiting for a few hours, they were naturally angered by the wait. However, just as all the martial artists were getting impatient, the door of the elixir store opened. A warrior spirit youth walked out, and a few martial artists joined forces to hang up a plaque. Divine Pill Pavilion. You must be joking. Even if it's a pill shop opened by an alchemist, they wouldn't dare to use such a name. Is he trying to attract attention? Even if he does attract attention, it's useless if he doesn't have good pills. What Divine Pill Pavilion? This is simply an insult to the Tao of alchemy. Hey! Instantly, the discussions became even more intense. In the Divine Martial Continent, no matter which city it was, the name of a shop had its own rules. In Moonrise City, no one had ever dared to use such a name. Even when the alchemists opened their elixir stores, no one had ever used this name. Qing Yun looked at the discussions of countless martial artists with a faint smile on his face. Then he placed a plaque in front of the medicinal pill shop. All the martial artists swept their divine senses over, and their expressions changed drastically. Because on the plaque, the introduction of the medicinal pills were all peerless, and there were even 5th-grade medicinal pills. Moreover, 5th-grade medicinal pills were also high-grade existences. Just the level of this pill made countless martial artists shut up, because a 5th-grade pill could only be refined by a spirit pill master. More importantly, a legend like a peerless medicinal pill only existed in legends. He did not expect it to appear on this plaque. A peerless medicinal pill. Finally, someone couldn't help but shout. Instantly, countless surprised voices sounded. If a martial artist uses a peerless essence-cultivating pill, it's equivalent to the effects of a 2nd-grade medicinal pill. It's equivalent to a martial artist using a 2nd-grade medicinal pill. That's right. Martial artists can only use 1st-grade medicinal pills. They can't withstand 2nd-grade medicinal pills. If they use peerless quality medicinal pills, they can even surpass the power of 2nd-grade medicinal pills. However, the price of this medicinal pill is too expensive. Is it expensive? No one in Moonrise City or even the Azure Continent has ever heard of a supreme-grade pill. This pill only exists in legends. No matter how expensive it is, I've never heard of it being sold outside. However, does the Divine Pill Pavilion really have peerless pills? It should be pretty good. Otherwise, it wouldn't dare to be called the Divine Pill Pavilion. For a moment, countless martial artists were incomparably shocked, and their faces were filled with anticipation. If the Divine Pill Pavilion really had peerless pills, then their wait this time would not be in vain. This was a rare opportunity. Not letting these martial artists wait long, Qing Yun walked out with a confident smile on his face because he was also bursting with joy in his heart. At the same time that he was shocked, everyone else was shocked. This was what he was excited about. Everyone, the Divine Pill Pavilion officially opens today. Please take care of us in the future. Today, our elixir store will only sell elixirs for 1 hour. From now on, we will only be open for 2 hours a day. The Divine Pill Pavilion will not accept transactions outside of business hours. Furthermore, the pills in the future will be traded for medicinal herbs and materials. Spiritual stones cannot be used to purchase pills. Qing Yun said with a smile. Then he waved his hand and casually took out 4 jade bottles from the counter behind him. He opened the jade bottles and poured out more than 10 pills. The elixirs shot towards the few Martial King realm martial artists present. Naturally, since he opened an elixir store, he had to let others check his elixirs. All the martial artists were extremely surprised. The elixir store was open to do business, but the Divine Pill Pavilion had a limited business time every day. What could they do in 2 hours? Moreover, he could not use spirit stones to buy pills in the future. He only needed materials and medicinal herbs to exchange for them. This was too ridiculous. The dozen or so Aartial kings looked at the pills in their hands carefully, and their expressions kept changing. This was because the pills in their hands were indeed peerless. Then the dozen or so martial kings exchanged pills. Every pill was a peerless existence. Grade 1 to Grade 4 medicinal pills were all of peerless quality. This was too shocking. Not bad, they are all peerless medicinal pills. Peerless Vitality Pill, Peerless Spirit Binding Pill, Peerless Void Spirit Pill, Peerless Purple Jade Pill. The martial king who was inspecting the pills said, the quality of the pills was not fake. They were definitely peerless pills. All the martial artists were shocked when they received the affirmation. A true peerless medicinal pill had appeared. I'll give these pills to everyone as a souvenir. I'll start selling the pills now. Rank 1 medicinal pills line up here. Rank 2 medicinal pills line up here. Rank 3 medicinal pills line up here. And rank 4 medicinal pills line up here. Qing Yuan made all the martial artists who wanted to buy medicinal pills line up, his face always carrying a smile. However, after he finished speaking, all the martial artists exploded. Buying medicinal pills and doing business still had to line up. Wasn't this a joke? We still have to line up. Are you kidding me? You're doing business and you still want us customers to line up? Is there any reason for that? Yeah, we're customers. If we have to queue up, isn't that giving up on business? Even if there are peerless medicinal pills, there's no such thing. All of a sudden, all the martial artists started to discuss and did not plan to line up. To buy medicinal pills was to do business for the medicinal pill store. His own customers actually had to queue up. This was too ostentatious. Haha, our Divine Pill Pavilion doesn't lack spirit stones. If you want to buy it, then buy it. If you don't want to buy it, then forget it. Your lousy spirit stones are nothing to us spirit alchemists. If you take out a peerless pill, the Divine Pill Pavilion will take it back at 10,000 times the price. How about that? Do you think you're a god just because you have a few spirit stones? 20 minutes have passed, and there are still 100 minutes left to buy the pills. If you don't want to buy them, then get lost. The Divine Pill Pavilion doesn't lack spirit stones. Qing Yuan laughed out loud and then said loudly, fooling all the martial artists, was this still a business? Was doing business so domineering? However, all the martial artists immediately understood that he had the right to do so. If he took out a supreme-grade medicinal pill, there would be no supreme-grade medicinal pill elsewhere. This was the absolute principle. That's right. An alchemist who can concoct peerless elixirs is definitely a top-notch alchemist. Would an alchemist care about such a small amount of spiritual stones? The alchemist of the Divine Pill Pavilion is doing this for the sake of the warriors of Moonrise City. Otherwise, why would he concoct such elixirs to sell for money? A martial king realm expert said. When he spoke, all the warriors fell silent. They all knew this principle. It was just that the Divine Pill Pavilion's rules had made them feel uncomfortable, because they had been accustomed to customers for too long. Then the martial king who spoke bought 10 third-grade void spirit pills, all of which were top grade. With the first one there would be a second one. Following that, many martial artists began to line up to buy medicinal pills. The price of the pills had already been written. He would prepare as many spirit stones as he wanted to buy. This way he would not waste any time. Qing Ling and Li Lingtian were smiling as they watched the situation at the elixir store. Qing Yuan had become bolder during this period of time, and he was behaving like a general. For a time, there were 4 long lines outside the Divine Pill Pavilion. Such a formation made countless martial artists curious. To be able to make powerful martial artists line up so obediently, it was really the first time he saw it. However, there were still people who were not afraid of death who came looking for trouble. Just as countless martial artists were having a party, a middle-aged man walked up. He did not even queue up. He directly came to the counter that sold tier 4 medicinal pills, and revealed an evil smile on his face. Give me 10 peerless purple jade pills. Yu Feng said coldly. He didn't believe that there was really no business. He had bought a 4th-grade pill. The price of a 4th-grade pill was 100,000 low-grade spirit stones each. 10 pills would be 1 million. He believed that no pill shop would reject a business deal worth 1 million. Moreover, they would serve tea politely. "Line up," Qing Yun said indifferently. The smile on his face did not change. Making me line up? Isn't this courting death?" Yu Feng's expression turned cold. In front of so many ancient martial art practitioners, he actually wanted a Tier 4 martial arts grandmaster to queue up. Wasn't this a slap in the face? After saying that, he circulated his raging true essence and smashed a huge fist shadow towards Qing Yun. The air also tore apart, and in the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of Qing Yun. Chapter 259 Chapter 259 The Rules of the Divine Pill Pavilion. Chapter 259 The Rules of the Divine Pill Pavilion. Qing Yun's expression did not change in the slightest when faced with the attack of a Tier 4 martial arts grandmaster. He knew that his young master would not let him die like this. Li Lingtian, who was behind Qing Yun, nodded in satisfaction when he saw Qing Yun's performance. Although his cultivation was not high, he had such courage in the face of danger. Even other martial artists would subconsciously dodge when they knew that someone was going to stop them. However, Qing Yun was not like this. He was a little similar to him. Just as the gigantic fist shadow was about to land on Qing Yun, Li Lingtian flicked his finger and a burst of frosty qi shot out. The air was instantly frozen and the air froze wherever the frosty qi passed. Tis! With a soft sound all the martial artists could see was a flash of force. Then Yu Feng's fist shadow was frozen. Following that, Yu Feng's entire body turned into an ice sculpture. The sky was temporarily quiet, and the force disappeared. Qing Yun was still smiling, as if nothing had happened. However, Wu Zong Yufeng, who had attacked, had turned into an ice sculpture and stood there. The warriors present could not feel the slightest bit of vitality from Yufeng. Crash! The ice sculpture shattered into pieces and so did Yufeng. This change shocked all the ancient martial art practitioners to death. Even the martial arts grandmaster was killed by a gust of cold air. In the end, his corpse was not intact. What kind of powerful cultivation did it take to do this? Moreover, when this cold qi appeared just now, there was no sign of power or warning. It was as if it had appeared out of thin air. Hush! All the martial artists were in an uproar. Power, this was power. Those who were not convinced would be killed immediately. The Divine Pill Pavilion possessed peerless pills. Their pills were powerful, and all martial artists in the world would flock to them. They were powerful, and those who were not convinced would be killed immediately. This was true power, true strength. The queue to buy pills continued. The death of this martial arts grandmaster could only serve as a reminder to all martial artists. No matter what strength or family you were from, as long as you did not abide by the rules of the Divine Pill Pavilion, you would die. Time slowly passed. The members of the Divine Pill Pavilion were extremely excited when they saw the spirit stones enter. This was also the peerless pill of the Divine Pill Pavilion. If it was in other pill shops, they would often compete with each other for a customer. However, the situation was reversed here. If one spent spirit stones to buy pills here, they would have to queue up. If the time was up, even if they queued up, they would not be able to buy pills. The Divine Pill Pavilion would only accept spirit stones to purchase pills for the first few days. Looking at the situation, they would no longer accept spirit stones to purchase pills after a few days. 2 hours passed very quickly. The Divine Pill Pavilion closed for business, but there were still countless martial artists queuing behind. Everyone, today's business time is up. If you need pills, please come back tomorrow. Line up as soon as possible. 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the afternoon. However, today is the opening day of the Divine Pill Pavilion. Those who did not manage to buy any pills, please give each of you a cultivation pill as a small token of appreciation. Qing Yun saw that there were still more than 300 martial artists waiting in line behind him. However, the business hours had to end when it was time. However, when he heard Li Lingtian's voice transmission, a smile appeared on his face. If everyone was given a vitality pill, it would put the people queuing up in a good mood. Very soon, the 4 members of the Divine Pill Pavilion came to the last line and began to distribute the pills from the back to the front. This way they would not have to worry about queuing up again to receive the free pills. The distribution of the pills ended, and the Divine Pill Pavilion's business ended. After a final count, the pills and spirit stones sold today had actually reached more than 43 million. Seeing that they had earned 43 million in less than 2 hours, everyone was extremely excited. Qing Ling was so happy that she was beaming. In the past, she had to scrimp and save for a single spirit stone, but now young master had earned more than 40 million in just 2 hours. Moreover, this was a time limit. It was also the first day. Not many people knew, and even powerful martial artists did not know. If those experts came, any bottle of 5th-grade medicinal pills would be worth 100 million spirit stones. If this continued, the entire Moonrise City would be in an uproar in 10 days. If the Divine Pill Pavilion sold pills without restrictions, they would definitely earn billions of dollars a day. In Moonrise City, there were countless high-level experts. The rich were also high-level experts. When they saw rare peerless pills, they naturally did not care about spirit stones. Qing Ling had a good idea, but Li Lingtian did not. If he could earn spiritual stones, he would be able to refine a large number of pills. However, he did not do it for the spirit stones. He had other motives. Moreover, he needed time and herbs to refine pills. He naturally would not delay his cultivation for spirit stones. However, he also saw that alchemists did earn money. Although they did not earn as much as he did, alchemists were definitely the richest people in the world. This time, everyone's performance is not bad. Everyone will be rewarded with 10 peerless vitality pills and 1,000 low-grade spirit stones. However, the next time you open your business, you must bring out the rules of the Divine Pill Pavilion. You must be neither humble nor respectful to your customers. Who cares if they are martial emperors, martial venerables, or martial warriors or martial spirits? They are just ordinary people who abide by the rules of the Divine Pill Pavilion. Li Lingtian smiled as he spoke loudly to the 12 members of the Divine Pill Dispensary. After that, Qing Yun distributed the spiritual stones and elixirs to the 12 members. Thank you for your reward, young master. The 12 warrior spirit disciples were extremely excited when they saw the 10 peerless pills and 1,000 low-grade spirit stones. 1,000 low-grade spirit stones was their annual income. They didn't expect young master to reward them with 1,000 spirit stones. If they performed well in the future, would they lack spirit stones and pills? It was obviously impossible. This young master will stay here for the next 2 days. I will return after the Divine Pill Pavilion has settled down. You guys should work harder and not embarrass this young master. One don't need trash in front of me. Besides, if I need people, one can easily grab a bunch of martial emperors. This time I'm giving you a chance. The chance is given by others, but you're the one who will seize it. Li Lingtian said earnestly. With his own abilities, he could easily grab a handful of martial emperors. He didn't have high expectations. These disciples just needed to work hard. In fact, in his opinion, opportunities were created by oneself, not given by others. Creating opportunities was not something that these disciples could do. Only he could do it. Soon after, Qing Yun ordered 2 tables of dishes to be served from the restaurant outside. Li Lingtian celebrated with everyone. The happiest person was none other than Qing Ling. In just a month, she had gone from a patient who couldn't cultivate to a warrior, from a little girl to a young master's woman. Furthermore, he had once used spirit stones to crush countless martial royal realm experts. This was all because of young master. The dozen or so people were celebrating like normal people. It was Li Lingtian's first time mingling with them. He, who had never drunk before, had also drunk quite a bit. Although martial artists would not get drunk, he did not use his cultivation. His entire person was dizzy. In the end, it was Qing Ling and Qing Yun who escorted him back to his room. Qing Ling naturally had to take care of him. The elixir store was a 2-pound mansion. The small courtyard at the back naturally belonged to Li Lingtian's private restricted area. Only Qing Ling and Li Lingtian stayed inside. After drinking, Li Lingtian made Qing Ling feel like she was about to die. In the end, when both of them fell asleep, Qing Ling's little face was filled with satisfaction. Moonrise City was not destined to be a quiet night. The news of the Divine Pill Pavilion spread quickly. Other than grade 5 pills, the rest of the pills in the Divine Pill Pavilion were of peerless quality. Upon receiving this news, countless martial artists went crazy with excitement. What did a peerless medicinal pill represent? It represented the power of an alchemist, and it represented a greater blessing for martial artists. In the divine martial continent, the most scarce thing was medicinal pills. Without a good alchemist, one could not refine good medicinal pills. A peerless medicinal pill was only a legend, but this legend had appeared. Moreover, there was more than one type of peerless pills in the Divine Pill Pavilion. Rank 1 to rank 4 pills were all peerless pills. Even rank 5 pills were of high quality. Seeing was believing because countless martial artists had already bought peerless medicinal pills. Moreover, the rules of the Divine Pill Pavilion were also widely spread. Many martial artists were not convinced, but so what? The Divine Pill Pavilion was opened by others, so they had to abide by other people's rules. These warriors were excited, but in the elixir stores in Moonrise City, there were at least 8,000 of them. These elixir stores were all controlled by the large families and factions. Controlling the elixir stores meant controlling half of the cultivation resources. Now that a divine pill house had appeared and possessed peerless pills, it was definitely a huge blow to the other pill shops. The Feng family was known as the top 10 family clans in soliciting Moon City. They were extremely powerful. No other family could compare to them in terms of resources or strength. Furthermore, the Feng clan was a clan that mainly focused on alchemy. They controlled 1/3 of the alchemy industry in Moonrise City. Patriarch, the appearance of the Divine Pill Pavilion is not good for our Feng family's pill shop. According to the Feng clan's inquiries, more than 30 martial royal realm experts had gathered together. These martial royal realm experts were the core forces of the clan. When they encountered a problem, they would discuss it with these martial emperors before making a decision. They were the first to know about the Divine Pill Pavilion. After knowing this news, they also felt a huge threat. At the same time, they were also extremely shocked because there were 4 spirit alchemists in the Feng family. Out of the 4 spirit alchemists, only 1 spirit alchemist could occasionally concoct some high-grade pills. Supreme-grade pills were only a legend. It was simply unimaginable. The Feng clan's position in Moonrise City was definitely the #1 existence. Now that someone had defeated the Feng clan with their advantage, the Feng clan naturally became worried. Haha, the Divine Pill Pavilion is indeed powerful. However, have you ever thought that it wouldn't affect our Feng clan at all? Because the Divine Pill Pavilion's Tier 4 and below are all peerless pills, and Tier 5 pills are also high grade. Who do you think has enough spirit stones to buy peerless pills every day? Normal and high-grade pills are the main ingredients. Feng Wuxia said with a smile. He did not care about the appearance of the Divine Pill Pavilion at all. He was only shocked by the pill technique of the Divine Pill Pavilion. In alchemy, only alchemists knew the power of alchemy, and they admired powerful alchemists. He was also an alchemist, so he naturally wanted to see it. Chapter 260 Formation 1. Chapter 260 Formation 1. Clan leader is right. I would like to go and take a look at the alchemists of the Divine Pill Pavilion. Feng Chongyun also revealed a curious expression. He wanted to know what ability this Divine Pill Pavilion had to be able to refine peerless pills. This had completely broken the legend of the Divine Martial Continent. It was also a miracle of the Divine Martial Continent. It was the greatest wish of all pill refiners to communicate with this pill refiner. A pill refiner had been refining pills for hundreds of years, so they naturally had a lot of experience. However, they had thought of countless ways, but they still could not improve. They could only communicate with those powerful pill refiners. It seems that the alchemist from the Divine Pill Pavilion is an outsider and not from the top 10 families. In this case, the order of soliciting Moon City has been disturbed. Feng Wuxia pondered for a moment, as if he had thought of something. Then he slowly said it out. After saying it out, all the warriors fell into deep thought. The next day, Li Lingtian was sleeping in his room. Qing Ling was hugging his arm tightly. She was not wearing a single piece of clothing and her proud and full breasts were leaning against Li Lingtian's arm. Li Lingtian looked at the little beauty beside him and could not help but smile. In his previous life, he was a nobody with no money, no power, and no beauty. In this life, through his hard work, his strength had increased rapidly and he had countless wealth. More importantly, there were countless beauties in this world. The girls around him were all peerless beauties, but his responsibility was getting bigger and bigger. This was the basic responsibility that a man had to bear. However, when he thought of Tang Ziming, Tang Qingyue, Shun Meier and Yun Yaoyao, he felt helpless. Only by strengthening himself could he protect his family and women. The Divine Pill Pavilion was his first step. He wanted to establish the most powerful force in the Divine Martial Continent and become the most powerful super expert in the Divine Martial Continent. Not only did he want to become the most powerful person in the Divine Martial Continent, he also wanted to reach the higher true God realm. This was because in his previous life, the Nine Yang Saint Lord had mastered the 5 elements martial soul, as well as the ice and fire martial soul. All of this was something he had to do. Only by being the strongest could he control his own fate and the fate of others. After some time, Qing Ling woke up. Seeing that Li Lingtian was deep in thought, she did not want to disturb him. She simply leaned her delicate body against Li Lingtian's side. When Li Lingtian sighed and realized that Qing Ling had woken up, a smile appeared on his face. "Young master, you woke up a long time ago." Qing Ling sighed as she looked at Li Lingtian. The strings of her zither quivered inexplicably. Her young master was omnipotent, yet he still had something to regret. He didn't know why young master sighed or for whom. "Yes, I woke up for a while." Li Lingtian gently embraced Qing Ling and pressed her against him. He had to protect the woman beside him. "Young master, Qing Ling saw you sigh, can you tell her?" Qing Ling revealed a curious expression and couldn't help but ask. She knew that this was beyond her qualifications, but she still couldn't help but ask. "There are many things in this world that one regret. I sigh, but it's not regret. It's just a sense of pity. There are some things that I can accomplish, but I'm limited by my current strength. Therefore I have no regrets, only feelings because I can do it." Li Lingtian smiled with a confident look on his face. A person must be confident but not blindly confident. Self-confidence was part of his personality because he had the qualifications and strength to be confident. "I believe that young master is the most powerful person in the world." Qing Ling looked at the confidence on Li Lingtian's face and was filled with confidence in him as well. In her opinion, there was nothing in this world that her young master could not do. It was only a matter of whether her young master liked it or not. "Let's go, let's get up. The Divine Pill Pavilion is about to open for business. We can't be careless for the next few days." Li Lingtian caressed Qing Ling's smooth and tender body, causing her to tremble. Soon after, the two of them got up and Qing Ling helped Li Lingtian tidy up his clothes. By the time they arrived outside the Divine Pill Pavilion, it was already crowded with people. After those medicinal pills yesterday, countless martial artists knew of the existence of the Divine Pill Pavilion. There were 4 long lines. Some martial artists could only watch from the side when they saw that the lines were too long. Those who came here to queue up had not yet seen the sun because they knew that the Divine Pill Pavilion only opened for an hour in the morning. If they came late, they would not be able to buy the pills. Yesterday, there were already countless martial artists who obtained peerless medicinal pills. Today, naturally, no one doubted the quality of the medicinal pills. "Today, I'll buy another 10 thawing spirit pills. I'll take them when I'm a warrior spirit trying to break through to the next realm. I bought the instant vitality pill yesterday. 1 pill helped me advance from tier 7 to tier 8 warrior." Indeed, the power and effects of a supreme great pill are beyond imagination. I've been a tier 3 warrior spirit for more than a year, but a single spirit binding pill was enough to break through to tier 4 warrior spirit. "Humph, you don't know what I'm talking about. The spirit binding pill has allowed me to break through to the 6th rank of the Martial King realm." The peerless pills of the Divine Pill Pavilion are indeed powerful. Although the price is a little expensive, it is countless times better than other pills. This is not something that can be measured by price. It's a pity that I can't use spirit stones to buy pills in the future. I have to exchange for medicinal herbs and materials. Why don't I bring all my wealth and borrow a sum of spirit stones to buy pills? I'll save them for when one break through to the next realm. Forget it. No matter how powerful a spirit alchemist is, they can't use air to refine pills. The Divine Pill Pavilion also needs herbs to refine pills. As a martial artist, you must understand this. Countless martial artists discussed animatedly. However, no one dared to offend the Divine Pill Pavilion today. In fact, they were all defending the Divine Pill Pavilion. For a time, countless martial artists completely treated the medicinal pills of the Divine Pill Pavilion as divine pills and miraculous medicines for breaking through realms. As time passed, the scorching sun in the sky scorched the ground, but countless martial artists could only line up under the scorching sun. Creak. Following the sound of the door opening, the door of the Divine Pill Pavilion opened. 2 martial artists carried out a plaque. This was also a plaque with the price of medicinal pills engraved on it. Everyone, there's only an hour in the morning, so prepare your spirit stone so as not to delay everyone's time. Qing Yun's face was calm and collected. This kid was imitating Li Lingtian. By the time Qing Yun finished speaking, countless martial artists had already prepared the number of spirit stones and the corresponding number of medicinal pills they needed. This way they would not delay any time. Li Lingtian was meditating in the courtyard with his eyes closed. His divine consciousness enveloped the entire Divine Pill Pavilion. The morning passed peacefully. Although there were countless martial artists who did not buy the pills, they could continue in the afternoon. In the courtyard, Li Lingtian smiled when he saw that the other warriors had left. Because every hour the speed of buying medicinal pills was extremely fast. In an hour, he could accept the transactions of 400 martial artists at the same time. Qing Yun make 500 jade plates. 100 jade tokens are used to buy 5th grade pills. 100 is 4th grade, 100 is 3rd grade, 100 is 2nd grade, and 100 is 1st grade. There are only 100 slots for each type of medicinal pill every day. Only the martial artists who have obtained the token will have the opportunity to buy the medicinal pill. They will also line up to receive the token. This way it will prevent others from queuing up for nothing. Li Lingtian opened his eyes and spoke to Qing Yun, who was standing in front of him with a bow. This way this spot was also a generous income, but he could let Qing Yun arrange for people to secretly trade. In this world there was no true fairness, only true darkness. Young master is really smart. This move is too wonderful. Qing Ling was excited when she heard Li Lingtian's words. This was a huge long-term income. If she could control it well, her subordinates could rely on it to survive. This is already high. The real show is still to come. Li Lingtian smiled. In his mind there were thousands of ways to earn money. As long as he was willing, he could find any one of them. No one knew that his target had already set his eyes on the City Lord's mansion. The City Lord's mansion was the public power of the entire Azure continent. Every big city had a City Lord's mansion. Some of the safety and basic matters of the big city were controlled by the City Lord's mansion. This City Lord's mansion was the same as the City Lord's mansion of every city in the Qingzhou Empire. However, in the Azure continent, the City Lord's mansion represented the Azure continent and did not participate in any competition. It only protected the safety of the city. The appearance of the Divine Pill Pavilion would definitely bring endless popularity to Moonrise City. However, to enter the main city of Moonrise City, one would need a token of 100,000 spiritual stones. If his Divine Pill Pavilion was built outside the city, it would naturally attract popularity. When his Divine Pill Pavilion became powerful, he would look for the City Lord's estate. This deal could be made. Although there were no warriors buying pills in the afternoon, Li Lingtian did not stop. Instead, he quickly got busy. Li Lingtian stood in the courtyard. With a flick of his divine consciousness, a golden light appeared between his brows and the divine array appeared before him. The divine array diagram floated in the air, flashing with golden light. After being nourished by his Zhen Yuan and his control over the divine array diagram, it became even more dazzling. 9 Palaces 8 Trigrams Attack and Defense Formation. 9 Palace Sky Xian Formation. Devouring Formation. Li Lingtian kept waving his hands while Qing Ling was stunned by his actions. She did not know what her young master was doing. Streaks of mysterious radiance disappeared from the courtyard. After 2 hours, Li Lingtian was almost exhausted. However, his face revealed a satisfied expression. If it was in the past, he would definitely need a day's time to attack and defend the 9 Palaces 8 trigrams formation, but now it only took an hour. The other 2 formations only took an hour, and 3 formations disappeared from the courtyard. Even though these great formations did not use any materials as the formation cores, they were still extremely powerful back then. With that, the Divine Pill Pavilion's safety could be assured. After everything was done, Li Lingtian slumped on the chair weakly. Qingling quickly stepped forward to massage Li Lingtian with a surprised expression. "Young master, is this an array formation?" Qingling asked curiously as she massaged. "This is a killing array. As long as someone dares to cause trouble in the Divine Pill Pavilion, they will be killed instantly." Li Lingtian closed his eyes to rest after he said that. He was a Tier 4 Pinnacle Martial Arts Grandmaster. He was still exhausted after executing 3 formations. Chapter 261 Chapter 261 Terrifying Array Power 1 Chapter 261 Terrifying Array Power 1 In the afternoon, Qingyun made the jade token and waited for the time arranged by the Divine Pill Pavilion to open the door of the pill shop and start business. However, before the opening ceremony, he told them about the token. Everyone, in order not to delay everyone's time, the Divine Pill Pavilion specially made this kind of token. Warriors who obtain the token can queue up to buy pills. There are only 100 slots for each grade of medicinal pills every day. It's the same for trading medicinal herbs and materials. We'll open for business now. Those who haven't bought any pills can get a token. There's only 1 token for each type of pill. You can use the token to buy pills during business hours tomorrow, but you must follow the order on the token. Also, this token is unique to the Divine Pill Pavilion. If anyone wants to fake it, one can tell you that the Divine Pill Pavilion will never trade with him. Moreover, the Divine Pill Pavilion has the right to pursue the matter. After Qingyun finished speaking, he let the martial artists in the queue buy the medicinal pills. An hour passed, and the martial artists in the front of the queue successfully bought the medicinal pills. However, those in the back of the queue did not return empty-handed. Instead, they obtained tokens and used them to buy medicinal pills the next day. Time slowly passed. All the tokens had been distributed, and all the martial artists were ready to leave. At this moment, a figure flew over from the sky. The figure floated in the air and looked down at the Divine Pill Pavilion below. "Li Lingtian, you killed the Yin family's disciple. Damn it, come out now." In the sky, the middle-aged man in green shouted loudly. His voice was like thunder, instantly shocking all the martial artists within 100 miles of the Divine Pill Pavilion. A 9th-level martial emperor was extremely powerful. After asking around, he found out that his son, Yan Mia, had been killed by a young man. The disciples under him had finally found the person who had killed Yan Mia. This person had been in and out of the Divine Pill Pavilion for the past 2 days. He should be a member of the Divine Pill Pavilion. Yan Qing came out of seclusion and was furious when he found out that his son was killed. Now that he had found the person who killed his son, he naturally would not let him off. Hearing that the experts in the sky were coming to find trouble with the Divine Pill Pavilion, countless martial artists hid far away, their faces revealing fear. Putting aside the cultivation base of the experts in the sky, no one in Moonrise City dared to provoke the Yen family. In Moonrise City, countless warriors heard Yan Qing's voice and looked at the Divine Pill Pavilion curiously. They felt sad for the Divine Pill Pavilion. The Divine Pill Pavilion had just been established, yet it was already facing an opponent like the Yen family. It seemed like the Divine Pill Pavilion was about to disappear into thin air. Young Master Yan Qing, the super expert of the Yen family, is a 9th-level martial emperor. Qingyun was also shocked. Although he believed that Young Master was powerful, he was still afraid when faced with a 9th-level martial emperor. Furthermore, the Yen family had a high status in Moonrise City. The Divine Pill Pavilion was no match for the Yen family. Look at you, can you achieve great things? He's just a mere martial emperor. Even if one don't do anything, one can still kill him. Li Lingtian was glad that he had just established the formation. Otherwise, he would have to face this powerhouse head-on. He was only a 9th level martial emperor, and the silver-winged flying dragon could completely suppress him. After saying that, he lay down leisurely on the chair to rest. Yan Qing, who did not descend from the sky at all, saw this. Qing Ling and Qing Yun both broke down. Who was their young master? He was so indifferent to a 9th level martial emperor. Not only were they shocked, countless martial artists were also shocked. In their divine senses, the young man in the courtyard was actually sleeping, ignoring Yan Qing in the air. Li Lingtian, I'll give you 3 seconds. If you don't come out, the divine pill pavilion will be razed to the ground. Yan Qing was also furious. His reputation, status, and strength were well known in Moonrise City. However, he had been ignored by a young man when he came to the Divine Pill Pavilion. Countless experts watched in secret. Being ignored like this, their face was damaged. However, the Divine Pill Pavilion had a spirit alchemist, so he was a little afraid. It was not wise to offend a spirit alchemist. 3, 2, 1. After counting the 3 numbers, Li Lingtian closed his eyes and went back to sleep, completely ignoring Yan Qing, who was in the air. For a moment, all the martial artists almost laughed out loud. In this way, Yan Qing had become a person who was playing monkey tricks. He was playing alone in the air, and the people of the Divine Pill Pavilion ignored him. However, when faced with a 9th level martial emperor, they did not dare to laugh. However, some people still laughed. Qing Ling looked at Yan Qing in the air and then looked at young master. She immediately laughed and her small face was beaming. Healy. Young master, Qing Ling can't hold it in anymore. This person is too funny. Playing monkey tricks in the air alone is so fun. After Qing Ling laughed, she directly said it. Immediately, the expressions of countless experts changed continuously. What kind of people were these? It was one thing for the master to be calm, but the servant girls below were so bold. He was really speechless. Many experts felt fear in their hearts. If they were in the air, wouldn't they lose all their face? Courting death, courting death. Destroy them. Skyfrost Divine Fist, destruction. Yan Qing was completely enraged. He could clearly feel that countless experts were secretly mocking him and the Yan family. The violent true essence in his entire body circulated, and the space immediately froze. The temperature within a radius of 100 miles dropped sharply. A dark blue light smashed fiercely towards the courtyard of the Divine Pill Pavilion. Countless martial artists were shocked. Yan Qing, a 9th level martial emperor, was indeed powerful. Even a powerhouse of the same level might not be able to take this attack easily. They didn't know how the people below managed to escape, but they could only watch the dark blue light in the sky. In the blink of an eye, the dark blue light arrived above the Divine Pill Pavilion's residence. Just when all the warriors thought that the Divine Pill Pavilion had vanished into thin air, a huge light shield appeared in the sky above the Divine Pill Pavilion. The light shield covered the entire Divine Pill Pavilion. Tis. There was no explosion as expected, but there was a slight sound. The devastating attack disappeared on the light barrier like a breeze. Yan Qing and the countless experts watching were incomparably shocked. They did not expect the Divine Pill Pavilion to have such a powerful defensive array. However, what they did not expect was that the moment the dark blue light disappeared, a shocking suction force appeared on the light barrier. Countless spiritual chi swarmed over. In an instant, the blue light that had disappeared appeared again. The light bombarded Yan Qing in the air. Seeing this situation, Yan Qing was completely stunned. His attack was actually cancelled out, and in the end it was even counterattacked by his own attack. The faster he went, the faster he came back, and the more powerful he was. Rumble. While he was shocked, he could only use a middle-grade emperor weapon to cover his entire body. Just as his defense was unleashed, a shocking attack struck his defense. His entire body trembled and he was ruthlessly thrown out. There was the sound of blood spurting out, and a bloody mist appeared in the air. Yan Qing's body was thrown 100 meters before he was forced to float in the air. His face was pale. More and more martial artists watched. Seeing Yanqing beaten to such a state by their own attacks, they all felt terrified. With such an array formation, who would dare to attack? What a terrifying formation! Although this array formation is heaven grade, its power far exceeds heaven grade. Only a Saint Array Master can set up a heaven grade array, and an array that surpasses the heaven grade. Could it be that the Divine Pill Pavilion has a Saint Array Master? No wonder he's so unscrupulous. He's protected by such a terrifying formation. Many experts in the dark looked fearful. Facing such an array, even a 9th-level martial emperor was injured. Who would dare to provoke this array? Damn it! Yanqing was also afraid. But if he lost face in front of everyone, how could he survive in Moonrise City in the future? Initially, he did not use his full strength. He only wanted to destroy the Divine Pill Pavilion and lure Li Lingtian out so that he could kill him in front of everyone. This way, he would be able to avenge his son and also gain the Yen clan's prestige. However, he did not expect that he would backfire. Yen Bing exterminate, die for your father, Yanqing said coldly. His face revealed a serious expression as he circulated all the true essence in his body. Immediately the world trembled. In the sky, a ball of light with a radius of 100 meters appeared. This ball of light carried a terrifying chill, and the air froze. Not good, it's the Icy Blaze Annihilation. It's one of the Yen family's 3 great killing techniques, and it's equivalent to a martial emperor's forbidden technique. The 3 great killing techniques of the Yen family are even more powerful than forbidden techniques. When a 9th-level martial emperor uses them, even a martial honor would not dare to take them head-on. This time, no matter how powerful the Divine Pill Pavilion's array is, it's useless. Sigh, the Divine Pill Pavilion is really going to disappear into thin air this time. It's a pity for the Divine Pill Pavilion's medicinal pills. Run! The shockwave from the icy flames will kill anyone below the martial arts grandmaster level. For a moment, countless warriors retreated rapidly, only stopping when they were several miles away from the Divine Pill Pavilion. The buildings in Moonrise City would be fine, but the warriors would not be able to escape the destructive attack. Sensing the threat in the air, Li Lingtian opened his eyes with a grave expression. With a flick of his consciousness, the divine array diagram was displayed. His hands kept flicking, and then hundreds of rays of light disappeared into the light barrier. When he was done with the divine array diagram, the destructive ball of light in the sky also descended and bombarded the light shield. The light shield trembled violently, as if it was about to be destroyed at any moment. All the martial artists revealed shocked expressions. It was already terrifying enough to be able to withstand the flame ice annihilation. However, even if he blocked it, he wouldn't be able to escape. Yanqing's face also revealed a brutal expression, as if he had seen the Divine Pill Pavilion destroyed. The light shield and the ball of light were in a stalemate. Seeing this, the grave expression on Li Lingtian's face slowly dissipated before it turned into a faint smile. He leisurely looked at the happy Yanqing in the air. As long as his array formation could withstand it for a moment, it would be impossible for the other party to break through this light barrier. Yanqing was also puzzled. His flame ice annihilation had not shattered this light barrier. He quickly circulated his true essence and shot out balls of true essence light. With the support of the true essence, the ball of light erupted with a dazzling light. At the same time, the light shield also trembled. Rumble! A shocking explosion sounded. The area within 100 miles of the Divine Pill Pavilion trembled. Chapter 262 Chapter 262 Killing a Rank 9 Martial Emperor. Chapter 262 Killing a Rank 9 Martial Emperor. Countless martial artists felt the threat of death, but there was no movement in the Divine Pill Pavilion. However, when the experts saw the situation in the sky, their faces became filled with fear. After the explosion, it wasn't the light shield that exploded and shattered, but the flaming ice annihilation. Furthermore, the flaming ice annihilation had already shot towards Yanqing. At the same time, the power of the flaming ice annihilation was twice as strong as before. All. Boom! In the air there was a scream and another explosion. A curtain of blood appeared. A rank 9 martial emperor of the Yin family had died to his flame ice. He was a 9th level martial emperor, not a warrior spirit, yet he had fallen just like that. Moreover, his corpse was not intact, and not even his bones could be found. What was even more terrifying was that the Divine Pill Pavilion had not made a move from the beginning to the end. Yin Qing had been killed by his own attack. The light shield remained, and the sky gradually quieted down. The arrogant Yin Qing and the 9th level martial emperor from the Yin family had disappeared. They had been completely destroyed. Whoosh! All the experts and martial artists who saw this scene were in an uproar. They did not dare to breathe loudly. He had killed the Yin family's super expert without even using a single move. Who else would dare to provoke the Divine Pill Pavilion? Qing Yun and Qing Ling were shocked when they saw Yin Qing fall. Young Master had cast a formation and killed a 9th level martial emperor with ease. How many people in the Azure continent could have such a skill? After a short while, the countless experts hiding in the sky left. They had to report this matter to their families and sects to avoid provoking the Divine Pill Pavilion. If that happened, they would be in big trouble. The Divine Pill Pavilion was quiet, but the countless super families and forces in soliciting Moon City were worried. They did not know if it was a good thing or a bad thing for a powerful Divine Pill Pavilion to appear out of nowhere. They didn't even know the details of the Divine Pill Pavilion. This was because the ultimate skill used by a 9th level martial emperor was broken by a simple formation of the other party. Moreover, the 9th level martial emperor died. From the beginning to the end, he had not seen anyone from the Divine Pill Pavilion make a move. He did not know the strength of the Divine Pill Pavilion. What is it? The Yin family's Yin Qing was killed by an array formation? When Zhou Yu, the patriarch of the Zhou family, one of the 10 great families in soliciting Moon City, heard the news from his disciples, he stood up from his seat. Yin Qing of the Yin family was a 9th level martial emperor. Even if he was a peak 9th level martial emperor, he might not be able to defeat him. Patriarch Yin Qing was indeed killed by an array formation of the Divine Pill Pavilion. He was killed by his own attack. Yin Qing used the Yin family's ultimate skill in the second move, Yin Ice Annihilation. He died under Yin Ice Annihilation. Zhou Zhiming recounted everything that he had seen with his own eyes. At that time he was also shocked. A 9th level martial emperor could be killed by his attack. He was only a 3rd level martial emperor. Encountering this array was not courting death. This Divine Pill House is not simple. Be it their pills or formations, none of them have appeared in the Azure continent. It's best for our Zhou clan not to provoke this Divine Pill House. Pass down my order. The Zhou family disciples are not to provoke the Divine Pill Pavilion. Don't even provoke the servants of the Divine Pill Pavilion. If anything happens to the Divine Pill Pavilion, kill them without mercy. Zhou Yu said in a deep voice. In the end, his voice became sharp. If his disciples provoke trouble, the Zhou family might be implicated. Rather than letting the other party come knocking on his door, it was better to solve the problem first and not let the other party have an excuse. Not only the Zhou family, but even the other families of the top 10 families had received the news of their disciples. When they heard this news, countless high-level experts were shocked and ordered their disciples not to provoke the Divine Pill Pavilion. In just one day, the entire Moonrise City had become turbulent. It seemed calm, but it was extremely tense. In just 2 days, the Divine Pill Pavilion had been pushed to the cusp of the storm. This was because of the pills and the array formations of the Divine Pill Pavilion. The opponent was the Yin family, the powerful Yin family of Moonrise City. The disciples of such a powerful family were killed by the people of the Divine Pill Pavilion one after another. This made everyone feel the aura of a storm. Li Lingtian's expression was calm as he returned to his room to meditate and cultivate. What should come would come, and more could not be avoided. The Yin family had no enmity with him. They were just a small fry who had caused such a powerful storm that could not be stopped. This is good too. After Li Lingtian had finished cultivating, he went to the small courtyard to rest. Lying on a reclining chair, Qingling gently massaged Li Lingtian. He revealed a faint smile on his face. What happened today had both advantages and disadvantages. He had completely gone against the Yen clan, but he had killed the chicken to warn the monkeys, suppressing the 10 great clans. It was better to face the Yen family than everyone else. Moreover, if the Yen family did not appear, the other families would secretly target the Divine Pill Pavilion. Instead of letting people hide in the dark to scheme, it was better to let people stand up. This time, the Divine Pill Pavilion had killed a 9th-level martial emperor from the Yen family. The warriors from the other families did not dare to provoke the Divine Pill Pavilion. This was beneficial to the Divine Pill Pavilion. Overall, the advantages outweighed the disadvantages. "Young master, what do you mean?" Qingling asked curiously. She couldn't understand what young master was doing. The young master's methods were extremely magical. She had never thought that a martial emperor would die in such an aggrieved manner at the hands of the people around her. However, in her heart, no matter how powerful young master was or what methods he used, she could only support him because she was young master's woman. Although the Yen family is powerful, I don't believe that many of their martial monarchs can fall. This way, our Divine Pill Pavilion can develop rapidly. Even if their revered martial artists appear, I can think of a way to deal with them. Moreover, this way, the other families will not dare to offend or provoke the Divine Pill Pavilion. As Li Lingtian spoke, anyone who understood would be able to see through these things. Furthermore, Qingling was someone who slept beside him, so there was nothing to hide. Young master is right. Although they are going against the Yen family, the other families don't dare to get involved easily. This is because the Yen family has already lost a few martial emperors. It's impossible for the Divine Pill Pavilion to make peace with the Yen family. When the other families see the Divine Pill Pavilion dare to go against the Yen family, they will have to be wary. Qingling spoke in a serious tone. Li Lingtian turned to look at Qingling and was slightly surprised by this little girl. She was smart enough to understand things at a glance. If this went on, he would be able to take charge of a place by himself after a period of experience. He lacked such people by his side, and they were meticulous people. Most importantly, this person was someone close to him. Without a doubt, Qingling was the best candidate. "Young master, you." Qingling's heart thumped when she saw Li Lingtian looking at her. Did she say something wrong or something? There was still a trace of uneasiness in his heart. Could it be that he shouldn't have said anything? "Not bad. You are smart. In the future, when this young master deals with things, learn a little. When the time comes, you can help this young master deal with some things." Li Lingtian smiled and sat up. He reached out and pinched Qingling's little face. Really, Qingling will definitely not disappoint young master. Qingling was happy. It seemed like she was still useful because she didn't want to be a useless maid in young master's heart. Instead, she wanted to be an important person who could help him deal with some things. She wanted her position to be more important in young master's heart. This was her selfish motive. "Oh right, one have a vermilion fruit here. Eating it has the effect of retaining one's youth." Li Lingtian took out a blood-red fruit from the divine dragon ring. The fruit was almost translucent and it made one drool. "Beauty. Thank you, young master." Qingling was startled and immediately became excited. Girls were all like this, always hoping that they would never age and that their looks would never fade. However, such things were just fantasies. He didn't expect young master to have a spirit fruit that could help him retain his youth. When he saw the vermilion fruit, he snatched it over and hugged it in his arms as if he was worried that someone else would snatch it. If he had this fruit, he would be able to maintain his appearance forever. He would never grow old. He would always be so beautiful and young, and the young master would never forget him. Li Lingtian shook his head as he looked at Qingling. All women are like this. The more beautiful a woman was, the more she cared about her appearance and hoped to stay young forever. Whether it was a big beauty or a small beauty, they were all like this. Tang Ziming was like this, Tang Qingyue was like this, and so were his mother and Tang Qingyue's mother. In the Azure continent, Yun Yaoyao and Shun Mei'er were the same. Now Qingling was the same. I'll go and refine this fruit now. When the time comes, it'll always be this beautiful. Qingling pondered for a moment. She didn't want to wait any longer. She was worried that she would grow older every day. She had to leave her youthful appearance at this moment. With that, she ran towards her room. The vermilion fruit. A 500-year-old vermilion fruit could have the effect of retaining one's youth. This fruit was also the most magical existence among the spirit fruits. Li Lingtian could only shake his head when he saw Qing Ling's expression. The divine pill pavilion was still as quiet as before. Even though the martial monarch of the Yan family had been killed, it did not stop the martial artists from buying pills to increase their cultivation. Countless martial artists had come to line up early in the morning. Those with tokens were naturally at the front. Those without tokens, although they could not buy pills for the time being, they could get tokens and wait until tomorrow or afternoon to buy them. Just like that, 10 days passed by quietly. The 10 families were also very peaceful. Even the Yan family, which had lost face and martial emperor, didn't make any moves. Seeing that the divine pill pavilion had stabilized, Li Lingtian decided to return to his cave abode to cultivate. Moreover, there were not many medicinal pills left. This was still because of the restrictions on the amount and quota of the pills to be purchased. Otherwise, the medicinal pills would have been sold out long ago. Fortunately, the divine pill pavilion had already passed the time limit for spirit stones to buy pills. The only way to buy pills now was to exchange them with medicinal herbs. There was another way, and that was to join the divine pill pavilion and use contribution points to exchange for medicinal pills. Moreover, the warriors who joined the divine pill pavilion, whether they were warrior spirits or warrior kings, had to go through various tests. Those who were not talented, disloyal, or did not have any special skills were rejected. Chapter 263 Chapter 263 5th Tier Martial Arts Grandmaster. Chapter 263 5th Tier Martial Arts Grandmaster. Li Lingtian began cultivating after he returned to his cave abode. His cultivation was about to break through soon. Once he reached Tier 5 Warrior Ascendant, his abilities would be greatly enhanced. After offending the Yan family, the only thing he had to do was to increase his strength. Otherwise, he would only be killed. I'll have to refine pills for another month and seriously break through to the 4th rank of the martial arts Grandmaster realm. Li Lingtian had been refining elixirs in the cave abode for half a month. During this time, there was no news from the Divine Pill Pavilion or the Yan family. The rapid development of the Divine Pill Dispensary allowed Li Lingtian to refine pills in peace. At least there was no movement from the venerable immortal Yan clan. Perhaps they were concerned about something. Qingling was also helping Li Lingtian to deal with news from the outside world. As long as it was not too important, Qingling would handle it herself. If it was important, she would inform Li Lingtian immediately. Li Lingtian's daily alchemy hours had increased by quite a bit as well. He now had more than half of his daily alchemy time. The rest of the time was spent cultivating and practicing skills. At night, with Qingling accompanying him, he casually listened to some of the things that Qingling dealt with. As the days went by, Li Lingtian spent a month refining pills in the cave abode. Not good, my realm has loosened. Li Lingtian continued to refine elixirs. Under such circumstances, his cultivation speed was extremely fast. He had already reached the peak of Tier 4 Martial Arts Grandmaster, but now that his realm had loosened, he had to break through to Tier 5 Martial Arts Grandmaster. The last cauldron of medicinal pills was scrapped because he had to immediately circulate his cultivation to break through. Otherwise, he would not be able to control his true essence. Waving his hands, he cast spells one after another. The Heaven and Earth Reincarnation Art guided the circulation of the meridians and true essence in his body. Azure Yang Pill. As the vital essence continued to circulate, Li Lingtian steeled his heart and took out a green sun pill from the jade bottle. He tossed the pill into his mouth and the vital essence in his body grew even stronger. With the surge of Zhan Yuan, the Heaven and Earth Reincarnation also accelerated, and his entire body circulated rapidly. Bang! Inside his body, there was a soft sound as he broke through to the 4th level of the martial arts Grandmaster realm. The 5-colored golden core spun rapidly and emitted a mysterious light. The light flowed into his meridians. After a week, the light returned to his dantian, and the golden core absorbed all the true essence again. The golden core had absorbed all the true essence, and the dantian was empty. The soul-restoring pill. Li Lingtian now understood that he would fail if he could not provide enough quintessential essence to satisfy the golden elixir. The soul-restoring pill was several times more powerful than the Azure Yang pill. Naturally, he could not use the Azure Yang pill now. The medicinal power of the soul-returning pill instantly dispersed. The heaven and earth reincarnation circulated even faster, turning the medicinal power into true essence and slipping into his dantian. With a soul-restoring pill, the 5-colored golden core finally stopped spinning. The originally weak golden core had now become even stronger. Seeing this situation, he was relieved. He had finally reached the 5th level of the martial arts Grandmaster realm. After reaching the 5th level of the martial arts Grandmaster realm, the true essence in his body was even more massive, and the few divine artifacts were also nourished more. He had reached martial arts Grandmaster Tier 5, but he did not dare to stop because his current realm was still unstable. He would only dare to stop after he had stabilized. After 2 full days, his realm finally stabilized. When he opened his eyes, he felt the power in his body skyrocket, giving him a strong sense of confidence. Heaven flipping seal. Dominating heaven fist. Heaven and earth burning. The heavens and earth will shatter. Meteor shower. In the training room, the species skill was used. The shocking changes were that the low-level species skill reached the state of perfection. The power of an earth rank transmutation boundary was equivalent to the power of a low-level heaven rank. Every move he used was earth-shattering. The current attack was equivalent to the forbidden technique attack of a martial monarch powerhouse. Heaven-destroying sword formation. Sword howl of heaven and earth. Ice fire 9 heavens, destruction. Li Lingtian's face was filled with satisfaction and excitement after his 5 skills had reached the transcendent state. He then unleashed his 2 strongest trump cards. After his cultivation level increased, his 2 trump cards had also reached an extreme. Moreover, the 2nd level of the 9 heavens of ice/fire had reached its limit. As long as he found a type of flame and added the ice flame, he could break through to the 3rd level of the 9 heavens of ice/fire. It was extremely difficult to find a mysterious and powerful flame. It was an existence that could only be encountered by chance. There was no way to upgrade the ice-fire 9 heavens for the time being, but the heaven-destroying sword formation could be comprehended, and there was also the god's fury. After reaching the 5th level of the martial arts Grandmaster realm, he felt much more at ease. With a few of his skills, he would not have to worry even if he were to face a 9th-level martial emperor. Moreover, he still had saint artifacts like the Space Silk Banner and the Sky Sword, as well as divine artifacts. With the treasure control technique, he could control these treasures even more. Li Lingtian cultivated and refined elixirs in the cave abode, while Qing Yuan handled the matters outside. On this day, Qing Ling rushed to Li Lingtian's cultivation location. Young master, I've received news that the Yin family is going to destroy the Divine Pill Pavilion and the 4 9th-level martial emperors tonight. Qing Ling's small face was calm as she stared at Li Lingtian with her beautiful eyes. She had matured a lot during this period of time and was able to handle things logically. However, she was still a little girl. The effect of the vermilion fruit's youth-retaining effect was showing. However, in Li Lingtian's eyes, he was growing fonder of this little girl because she was smart and had a brain. The more a woman like her, the more he liked her. Qing Ling was a little girl in the outside world, but she was extremely shrewd when it came to handling matters. At night, she was like a little lamb in front of Li Lingtian. Send a message. The people from the Divine Pili Pavilion should retreat. There will be a great war tonight. A faint smile appeared on Li Lingtian's face, but it was laced with cruelty. Qing Ling understood that the more young master smiled, the stronger his killing intent. Qing Ling will inform him now. After Qing Ling finished speaking, she turned around and left. This matter couldn't be delayed. If she delayed any longer, everyone in the Divine Pill Pavilion would die. If you don't seek death, you won't die. After Qing Ling left, Li Lingtian's face was filled with killing intent. Since he had sent out 4 Tier 9 martial royal realm powerhouses, he wanted to destroy the Divine Pill Pavilion in one go. During this period of time, the Yin family's power had also been figured out. There were 7 ranked 9 martial emperors among the top experts. As for the martial honored realm experts, it was unknown. He had killed one of the 7 ninth-level martial emperors. Now that he had sent 4 of them, he would be able to cut off one of the Yen family's arms. The atmosphere in soliciting Moon City was getting more and more oppressive. Countless warriors seemed to sense that something big was about to happen, and did not dare to come out at night. It was unknown how the major clans and factions in soliciting Moon City received the news that the Yen clan was going to attack the Divine Pill Pavilion. The night was extremely quiet. The sky had just darkened when 4 figures appeared in the sky. 4 figures appeared in the sky above the Divine Pill Pavilion. Endless gusts of wind tore through the air, and the entire space was extremely oppressive. Li Lingtian come out. Yen Wudi, the super expert of the Yen family, shouted indifferently in the air. His voice was neither salty nor indifferent, but it made the oppressive atmosphere in the air even more strange. Countless spectators hiding in the distance also felt this terrifying aura and looked at the sky in shock. He did not expect the Yen family to think so highly of the Divine Pill Pavilion that they would send 4 ninth-level martial emperors at once. Yen Wudi, Yen Yujiao, Yen Luoyun, and Yen Fengyue were the 4 super geniuses of the Yen family. They had already reached the peak of the 9th-level martial emperor 100 years ago. Among the super powerhouses in Moonrise City, the 4 of them were definitely ranked among the top. They were always together. Even a supreme realm expert might not be able to defeat the 4 of them when they joined forces. This was also the Yen family's strongest trump card. The Yen family actually fought over a Divine Pill Pavilion. Sigh. No matter what background the Divine Pill Pavilion has, it's finished this time. This is luck. The Divine Pill Pavilion can only admit that they are unlucky to have provoked the Yen family. That array formation is indeed powerful, but it doesn't have the slightest ability to defend against the 4 Yen brothers. Any one of the 4 brothers can kill Yen Qing. With their combined power, they can even kill a first-level martial honored realm expert. In the dark night, countless experts were hiding and soliciting Moon City. They did not want to let go of the Divine Pill Pavilion at all. You won't die if you don't seek death. Remember, if you can reincarnate in your next life, don't provoke me. When you cause trouble, remember to open your dog eyes and look clearly. In the sky, a voice came from afar. The voice was erratic, and no one knew where it came from. However, a white-robed figure was already floating in the air. No one knew how this white-robed young man had arrived, because there was not the slightest fluctuation in the air. It was as if this young man had been in the air all along. Yen Wudi and the other 3 were also stunned. Countless experts couldn't see clearly how the white-robed young man arrived. If he flew, there would be the sound of air being torn apart. If he teleported, there would also be spatial fluctuations. However, this young man's arrival was silent, like a ghost that had suddenly appeared. Damn it! Yen Wudi had never been humiliated like this before, and was instantly enraged. He originally thought that the people from the Divine Pill Pavilion would beg for mercy when the 4 of them appeared. He was even thinking about how to humiliate and attack the people from the Divine Pill Pavilion. However, who would have thought that the other party would give them a silent slap as soon as they came up and teach them a lesson in front of countless hidden experts? Arrogant. An 8th-level martial emperor in the air said softly. Even a martial honor would not dare to provoke 4 9th-level martial emperors, yet this young man was so arrogant. The ignorant are truly fearless. Another 9th-level martial emperor said softly. Let's see how you die. You still dared to fool me last time. Far away, a young lady looked at Li Lingtian in the air and snorted in disdain. If Li Lingtian saw this young lady, he would definitely recognize her as the young lady from the Moonrise auction house. I'll give you 10 seconds to kneel down and admit your guilt. The Yen family can give you an intact corpse and the Divine Pill Pavilion will be taken over by the Yen family. Or you can submit to the Yen family and merge the Divine Pill Pavilion with the Yen family. Otherwise, if the Divine Pill Pavilion is destroyed today, you will be destroyed as well. Yen Yujiao said coldly. He was not as furious as his elder brother. Although Li Lingtian had killed the Yen clan's ultimate powerhouse, it was not a bad idea to make use of him to refine pills for the Yen clan. As he spoke, he gently waved a folding fan in his hand and shook his head in a confident manner, Chapter 264 Chapter 264 Killing the Flame Jade Flood Dragon. Chapter 264 Killing the Flame Jade Flood Dragon. All the warriors were stunned. If that was the case, the divine pill dispensary would merge with the Yen family, and the power of soliciting Moon City would become even more unstable. The popularity and medicinal pills of the divine pill pavilion had already attracted all the warriors in Moonrise City. They had become an indispensable force. If the Yen family really subdued the divine pill pavilion, the Yen family's power would directly suppress the 10 great families. While all the factions were worried, Li Lingtian burst out laughing. He laughed arrogantly and brazenly. Ha 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 ha, ha ha. That's funny. I've seen shameless people, but I've never seen a piece of trash as shameless as you. If someone doesn't know, they would really think that your Yen family is very powerful. Who do you think you are? In my eyes, you are just a second-grade cripple. Li Lingtian laughed out loud. Fai did not even flinch when faced with 4 Tier 9 martial royal realm powerhouses. For a moment, countless experts in soliciting Moon City were in awe. Just this courage alone was not something that ordinary experts could compare to. Countless young ladies looked at the dashing young man in the air, and their expressions remained unchanged in the face of a top-notch martial emperor powerhouse. They were filled with admiration as they looked at Li Lingtian lovingly. Damn it, damn it. Yin Yujiao was also enraged. He had been a proud son of heaven since he was young and had never suffered such humiliation. He actually called himself trash, a second-class cripple. How could he accept such humiliation in front of the world's experts? You didn't believe me when I told you. I exposed your shortcomings. Are you unhappy? Li Lingtian looked at Yin Yujiao, who was a Tier 9 martial emperor powerhouse. He was much stronger than Yin Qing. He didn't even stand a chance against 4 martial emperors. If he separated them, it would be easy for him. As long as he killed one of them, their joint attack would be broken. All right. I'll let you know what it means to be strong. Yin Yujiao said loudly. He was just a young man. Even if he hid his cultivation, he was only a martial arts grandmaster. A martial arts grandmaster was not even an ant in front of him. If he did not kill this young man personally, even if the Yen family wiped out the divine pill pavilion, he would not be able to regain his face. You want to play with me alone? Li Lingtian was stunned. How dare you act so arrogantly in front of me? I'll play you to death. With that said, even Yin Yujiao, who felt that it was inappropriate, could not take back his words. If he did not go up, it would seem that he was afraid of this young man. At that time he would lose face. What a deep mind. With his intelligence, if he's not careful, he'll sell you off and you'll still help him count the money. However, he doesn't have the qualifications to fight with the Flame Jade Flood Dragon. You have a good mind, but it's not wise to anger a 9th-level martial emperor. Countless warriors were whispering to themselves. Those who were involved in the matter were more confused than those who were watching. Yin Yujiao was infuriated and did not know that Li Lingtian was scheming against him. By the time he reacted, it was already too late. He also felt a trace of fear towards this young man in front of him. It was not his cultivation or strength, but this young man's mind. He was careful, pressing forward step by step and scheming step by step. He had also been schemed against. I'll crush you to death with a single finger. Humph. You're courting death. Yin Yujiao was furious. He still bragged after being angered, but he quickly stopped when he felt that he was being too abrupt. He originally wanted to say that 1 finger was enough, but he quickly stopped. He didn't dare to say anything else lest he was tricked again. After saying that, his body flashed and he took a step forward, circulating his true essence to the limit. Third brother. Third brother. Yin Wudi and Yin Luoyun reminded him. Although this young man didn't seem to have any cultivation, he gave off an unfathomable feeling. He was also worried that his brother would be schemed against, but their warnings could not stop Yin Yujiao at all. Forget it, the 4 of you come together. Lest you say that I bully the weak. Li Lingtian shook his head and extended his middle finger, making a gesture that said, no. Even if this world did not know about this gesture, they could feel that it was an insult to him. Big brother, second brother, fourth brother, don't interfere. Today one will tear this bastard apart. Yan Yujiao was the calmest of the four, but now he was the first to be angered. With that said, he waved his hand and a destructive attack came crashing down on Li Lingtian. It was a powerful move that a martial emperor used to suppress a martial grandmaster. CC. The shocking attack tore through space and arrived before Li Lingtian in the blink of an eye. All the martial artists looked at Yan Yujiao's attack carefully and were extremely shocked. After not seeing him for decades, Yan Yujiao's cultivation had improved a lot. In another few decades, he would definitely become a martial honor. The space continued to oppress him. However, a faint halo appeared around Li Lingtian, creating a vacuum within a 10-meter radius. Dominating Fleven Fist, Li Lingtian was delighted when he saw his opponent's attack. He had finally angered this fellow and was looking for an opportunity to kill him. The heaven and earth reincarnation technique circulated, and the true essence in his meridians circulated non-stop. The true dragon body barrier was activated, and the powerful and domineering dragon energy protected the surroundings. The pressure and aura of a martial emperor became ineffective in front of the dragon energy. With a wave of his hand, the air trembled, and his long hair fluttered in the wind. His body flashed and he waved his hand lightly. His attack was clean and neat. A 10-meter-long fist shadow bombarded Yan Yujiao. In the blink of an eye, the two attacks collided. Boom! There was an explosion in the air as Li Lingtian's body was forced back with a trace of blood trickling down the corner of his mouth. On the other hand, Yan Yujiao's body did not tremble at all. It was not something Li Lingtian could shake at all. A satisfied expression appeared on his face, but it was even more cruel. When Yan Wudi and the other two saw that their brother had injured this young man with just one move, their worried hearts also relaxed. That's all. So it's just a sharp tongue. Isn't this courting death? He can't even withstand a single move from a martial emperor. Yet he's so arrogant. I'm really speechless. For a moment, countless experts who were secretly watching the battle were speechless. They did not expect him to be so weak. He was injured in one move. At first they thought he had some ability. You only know how to pretend. In the distance, the young lady from the soliciting moon auction house snorted coldly. She looked at Li Lingtian with disdain when she saw that he was injured. However, she soon understood something and her face was filled with admiration. However, she was still unconvinced. Bastard, one thought you were so great. So you're just looking for death. 1 foot 11 inches make you wish you were dead today. Yan Yujiao said in a cold voice. He pressed his hands in the air, and the space trembled. A strange aura appeared in the air. A cruel expression appeared on his face, and the smile on his lips was extremely strange. Not good. The famous skill of the Flame Jade Flood Dragon, the tendon-splitting technique. This is used against martial artists with lower cultivation levels. Those with lower cultivation levels will suffer a fate worse than death. He's finished this time. Several experts recognized Yan Yujiao's attack, and their expressions changed drastically. This skill was useless against experts of the same level, but it was effective against low-level martial artists. Space and air were constantly torn apart, and streams of sharp force were constantly distorted. Soon after, a black hole appeared out of nowhere in the air. The black hole was headed straight for where Li Lingtian was standing. Humph! Li Lingtian snorted coldly as he circulated his true essence to the maximum. With a flick of his divine consciousness, the space banner appeared in his hand. However, at this moment the black hole directly bombarded him, and his entire person disappeared into the black hole. Yan Yujiao, Yan Wudi, and the rest were overjoyed to see the black hole envelop Li Lingtian. They did not expect the young man to be captured so easily. Haha, so that's all. Yan Yujiao laughed loudly. He grabbed with one hand, and the black hole spun towards him. This black hole was created by him so he could naturally control it at will. All the warriors shook their heads. They had thought that this battle would be earth-shattering, but they did not expect it to end like this. The divine pill dispensary was also over. Li Lingtian was living a life worse than death. Even Qing Yun and Qing Ling, who were standing far away, were shocked to death. They never thought that their young master would be destroyed by the Yen family just like that. Other than formations, he doesn't have any other abilities. It's making Moonrise City crazy. It's time to end it. Moonrise City will be peaceful again. Many of them looked angry. The Divine Pill Pavilion had easily eliminated a 9th-level martial emperor some time ago, which shocked soliciting Moon City. Now, it seemed that it was only a formation that was powerful. He did not have any true strength. However, just as some people thought that the battle had ended, a miserable cry appeared in the sky. The scream attracted the attention of all the warriors. They thought that Li Lingtian was being tortured and wanted to see how powerful the tendon-splitting technique was. However, when all the martial artists saw the situation in the sky, they were all stunned. Yin Yujiao reached into the black hole in an attempt to pull Li Lingtian out. However, at that moment a destructive attack was launched. One of his arms was also chopped off in a strange manner. The intense pain brought by his arm almost blurred his consciousness. At this moment, the destructive attack descended from the sky. It was in a completely different direction from the black hole. Heaven flipping seal, if you don't die, then you'll be considered powerful. The cold voice had a hint of a smile in it. Who else could it be but Li Lingtian, who had been sucked into the black hole? A destructive attack came crashing down from behind Yin Yujiao. 100-meter-wide palm print struck Yin Yujiao's body. There was no defense or defense. I'm unwilling to accept this. How did you escape the attack of the tendon-splitting technique? Aren't you injured? Seeing the destructive attack descend, he did not even have the slightest bit of consciousness to resist in front of this destructive attack. However, he was unwilling. He wanted to know how this young man had escaped his attack. He was clearly injured, but now it seemed like he was completely injured. Do you want to know? But I won't tell you. I'll tell you after you die. Boom! Boom! As Li Lingtian spoke coldly, the sky-turning palm's palm print had already struck the flame jade flood dragon. With an earth-shattering explosion, the heaven-flipping seal hit the flame jade flood dragon's body, and then his body exploded. Third brother! Third brother! Yin Wudi and the other two did not expect such a turn of events. They were stunned for a moment. By the time they reacted, the destructive power had already arrived on Yin Yujiao's body. They were too far away, and it was difficult to put out the fire nearby. They could only watch as the flame jade flood dragon turned into a bloody mist. Chapter 265 Chapter 265 Great Brahma Finger. Chapter 265 Great Brahma Finger. From the moment Yin Yujiao attacked Li Lingtian to Li Lingtian's injury, and now Yin Yujiao's death, the entire process seemed to take a long time, but it took less than 10 seconds. The flame jade flood dragon was killed in an instant. When all the martial artists saw the strange scene in the sky, they all thought that it was an illusion. However, when they saw the appearance of Yin Wudi and his brothers, this was no longer an illusion but reality. The 9th-level martial emperor flame jade flood dragon had fallen. The super expert Yin Yujiao, who was known as one of the top 10 super experts of the Yen family, was easily killed just like that. The experts watching near the Divine Pill Pavilion were in an uproar. This kind of counterattack, this strange situation made them feel uncomfortable. In 2 months, the first martial emperor of the Yen family was killed with a wave of his hand. 3 rank 5 martial emperors were also killed in one hit. Even Yan Qing, who was a 9th-level martial emperor, was destroyed by his own attack. All of this was caused by a young man. It seemed that this young man had no cultivation at all, but the result was that the other party was instantly killed. One understand now. So, he has been scheming against the 4 experts of the Yen clan all this while. He is trying to goad them into disarming their combined might. Then, he will pretend to be injured to lower their guard and kill them in the final blow. That's right. So he had everything under his control and deceived everyone. What a terrifying mind. His strength is not enough to kill a rank 9 martial emperor in an instant. Even a martial honor can't kill a rank 9 martial emperor in an instant. However, he did it because he successfully launched a sneak attack when Yin Yujiao was caught off guard. That's right. A martial emperor who isn't prepared is no different from an ordinary person. It's normal for him to be killed in one strike. However, it's impossible for the four of them to join forces. However, it's also impossible for them to escape from three martial emperors. In an instant, countless experts who were secretly watching the battle saw through the situation. They instantly felt their hearts tremble. In front of this young man, if they sold them out, they would have to count their money for him. Li Lingtian, I'm going to tear you into pieces today, and burn your bones into ashes. Yin Wudi was furious. He had never thought that the four of them would be together for hundreds of years. Now one of them was missing. He had harmed his brother right under his nose. Yin Luoyun and Yin Fengyue also had pained expressions. Although there was no relationship between the martial artists of the divine martial continent, the four of them had been together since they were young. This kind of relationship was indescribable. How could they not be angry when their brothers were killed? The three martial emperors circulated their true essence to the limit. Humph, one told you four to join forces, but you didn't listen. Do you think I'm easy to provoke? F*CKU, I'll beat you three bastards to death. Li Lingtian circulated his entire body's true essence. He did not seem to be injured at all. He said loudly to the three martial emperors. Instantly, countless martial artists were shocked. They had started to scheme, but now they were facing it head-on. It was a huge contrast. This person was not simple and could not be easily provoked. Buddy, come out. With that, he extended his hand and opened the divine dragon ring. The space trembled and a huge silver dragon floated in the air. A month ago, the quality of the heavenly monster pill had been upgraded to advanced grade 5. Furthermore, Li Lingtian had spent a day refining the advanced grade 5 heavenly monster pill into a peerless grade with his own blood essence and rare ingredients. Although there were only 3, it was enough for the silver wing flying dragon to break through. As expected, the silver wing flying dragon did not disappoint him. With 3 top-grade 5th-grade heavenly Yao cores, the silver wing flying dragon had advanced from level 9 to level 9. A level 5, level 9 silver wing flying dragon was equivalent to a level 9 martial emperor. However, the silver wing flying dragon's demonic power, and the true dragon's blood little white gave it had mutated it. Now, its strength had definitely reached the peak of rank 9 martial emperor. Silver wing flying dragon. Level 5. Level 9 silver wing flying dragon. What a terrifying pressure. That's not right. This silver wing flying dragon has mutated. Its strength is equivalent to a peak rank 9 martial emperor. It's the king of the sky. Even a first heaven martial honored expert might not be able to kill it. One didn't expect him to have such a powerful demonic beast. No wonder he has such guts. Even if we can't beat them, we can still escape. In the air, a martial emperor is no match for a silver wing flying dragon. In terms of speed, no one is a match for a silver wing flying dragon. All the martial artists were stunned. A level 5 silver wing flying dragon had actually appeared. It was impossible to subdue such a powerful demonic beast, let alone make it a combat partner. Level 5. Level 9 silver wing flying dragon. Don't tell me you want to defeat the 3 of us? Dream on. Big brother, you guys kill the silver wing flying dragon. Leave this bastard to me. I want to kill him myself. Yin Fengyue said coldly. He felt the most uncomfortable because he had the best relationship with Yin Yujiao. Moreover, the silver wing flying dragon was extremely powerful. It would take 2 people to kill the silver wing flying dragon. As long as he was careful, he could kill the enemy in front of him. Alright, be careful. Yin Wudi nodded and said. After he finished speaking, he looked at Yin Luoyun beside him and turned into a shadow as he smashed towards the silver wing flying dragon. Rumble! With a series of explosions, the silver wing flying dragon and the 2 9th level martial royal realm experts fought. The space trembled when experts of such levels fought. Heaven flipping seal. Li Lingtian did not hesitate at all. With a flick of his divine consciousness, the thunderclap wings appeared on his shoulder. With a strange flash, he disappeared. A destructive attack landed where he had been standing. He also looked at Yin Fengyue from afar. This Yin Fengyue's speed was extremely terrifying. Fortunately, he had used the thunderclap wings to teleport. When he first killed the Flame Jade Flood Dragon, he also used the thunderclap wings and the spatial banner to strangely avoid everyone's sight. Only then did he easily kill the Flame Jade Flood Dragon. When his body stopped, the Heaven Flipping Seal had already been used. A destructive and powerful palm print pressed down on Yin Fengyue in the air. Great Brahma Finger Break. Seeing that it was the Heaven Flipping Seal again, this Heaven Flipping Seal was the attack that killed his brother. Yin Fengyue was furious in his heart, but he was indeed shocked. This Heaven Up CI looked like an Earth-grade skill, but its power far exceeded the power of an Earth-grade skill. Moreover, it carried the mysterious truth of heaven and earth. He did not dare to be the slightest bit careless and used his trump card, the Great Brahma Finger. A huge finger shadow in the air, carrying a destructive and ancient aura, shot towards the sky-turning seal like a pillar of light. Tis! With a soft sound, the sky-turning palm was broken and the destructive finger shadow pressed forward toward Li Lingtian. The destructive force pierced through the space, causing all the powerhouses' hearts to tremble. Although the finger was aimed at Li Lingtian, it felt like it was attacking their hearts. Ice and Fire Ring. True Dragon Body Protection. Shifting flowers to trees. Li Lingtian was truly shocked when he saw his sky-turning palm being dispelled. This was the first time he had seen someone dispel his sky-turning palm so easily. If it was in the past, he would have let it go. However, during this period of time, he had broken through from the 4th level of the martial arts grandmaster to the 5th level. Moreover, the Heaven Up CI had also been cultivated from the extreme to the transcendent state. Its power was extremely terrifying. Even the thunderclap wings would not be able to escape from being locked onto by this kind of finger shadow. Moreover, he had already consumed a lot of energy. If he continued to size up the energy, he would definitely be finished. The Ice and Fire Ring and the True Dragon Body Barrier were used. With a move of his divine sense, his 10 fingers flicked like butterflies. In front of him, mysterious spells appeared one after another. At the same time, the finger shadow of the Great Brahma Finger had already struck in front of him. The Ring of Ice and Fire returned to its original form, and the light shield protecting the true dragon's body trembled violently. At this moment, seeing that the light shield was about to be broken, Yin Fengyue's face revealed an excited smile. He had finally avenged his brother. However, before he could be happy, his expression changed drastically. All the powerhouses who were watching the battle were surprised as the finger shadow of the Great Brahma Finger changed its direction in front of Li Lingtian. Following Li Lingtian's guidance, the destructive finger shadow flew into the distance, its target Yin Luoyun, who was attacking the silver-winged flying dragon. Second brother, be careful! Yin Fengyue cried out in shock. When he saw that his attack was actually aimed at his second brother, he was extremely shocked. By the time he shouted, it was already too late. Yin Luoyun also noticed a destructive threat shooting towards him, but he never expected it to be his brother's attack. He moved his body forcefully, trying to avoid the destructive threat behind him. However, he was still a little slow. His arm was destroyed and his body dodged to the side. At this moment, the silver-winged flying dragon's huge wings flapped down fiercely, and the unprepared Yin Luoyun was directly slapped down. It's time to end you. 11. Ice Fire 9 Heavens. Second Heaven Destruction. Li Lingtian's expression turned serious. He had unintentionally helped the silver-winged flying dragon, so he believed that it would not be in any danger. Now was the time to deal with this Yin Fengyue. His body floated in the air, his thunderclap wings flapped slightly, and he looked mysterious and elegant. He slowly raised his hands, causing the space to tremble. A destructive flame appeared, and at the same time, a glacier that could freeze the world appeared in front of all the warriors. The aura of the space was strangely oppressive, making countless martial artists feel depressed and uncomfortable. The aura of death and the aura of destruction appeared in the same space. The space immediately became even more strange. Grotto Heaven Mirror, Sacrifice. Yin Fengyue felt the aura in the air and was extremely shocked. Yin Wudi and the injured Yin Luoyun were also shocked. However, they were suppressed by the silver-winged flying dragon and could not be separated at all. All the experts also left far away, lest they suffer the disaster of the fish pond. An ancient bronze mirror appeared in Yin Fengyue's hand. After that, he executed a series of spells. When the last spell landed on the bronze mirror was completely destroyed. A ray of destructive light descended from the sky. The light was like the divine might of an ancient mighty figure. Li Lingtian's heart trembled when he realized this. No matter how strong he was, he could not withstand such a divine radiance. In the blink of an eye, the divine might beam blasted toward Li Lingtian. In the blink of an eye, it was 100 meters away from Li Lingtian. Chapter 266 Chapter 266 Life and Death 1 Chapter 266 Life and Death 1 Li Lingtian's expression changed drastically in front of the light of divine might. He didn't expect this paradise mirror to have such shocking power. The paradise mirror didn't have any power. It was just a catalyst to attract the divine light. Now there was no room for regret. The ice fire 9 heavens had already been used, and it was impossible to take it back. With a flick of his consciousness, the heaven and earth creation cauldron appeared in front of him. Rumble! With a shocking explosion, the divine light fiercely bombarded the light pillar of ice, fire, and 9 heavens. The light pillar trembled for a while and finally turned into air. At the same time, the light of divine might blasted toward Li Lingtian again. In the air, the light of divine might struck Li Lingtian and he vanished. The light of divine might slammed into the ground and Li Lingtian was nowhere to be seen. The ground shook with a destructive force, and the entire soliciting Moon City shook as well. Moonrise City had existed since ancient times. It had been built using a mysterious formation. The entire city was complete and could not be shaken. Unless a supermighty figure destroyed the entire city, no matter how powerful the attack was, it would not be able to destroy the buildings here. In the air, the silver-wing flying dragon and Yin Wudi and Yin Luoyun were still fighting. Yin Fengyue floated in the air with blood on the corner of his mouth and a pale expression on his face. He had also paid a heavy price for using the paradise mirror. His cultivation had fallen, his meridians had been injured, and his true essence was almost exhausted. Is it over? He died just like that. Even a 9th-level martial emperor would be killed in one strike by the light of divine might, let alone him. But his skill is so powerful that he can block the light of divine might for a while. What a pity. He was killed just like that. If he's a rank 9 martial emperor, the light of divine might won't be able to do anything to him. Countless experts began to discuss when they saw the battle between Yin Fengyue and the other's end. There was no longer any trace of Li Lingtian's aura on the ground or in the air, let alone his figure. Young master! Qingling's body trembled, and tears rolled down her face. Seeing young master being destroyed with his own eyes, his heart ached. Qing Yun was also extremely uncomfortable. Young master had helped him, but now he was harmed. Fourth brother, take a rest. The two of us are enough here. Yin Wudi was overjoyed to see Li Lingtian killed. However, the price his brother had to pay for his fall in cultivation state was too great. All right. This bastard caused my realm to drop. If he doesn't die, I'll make him wish he was dead. Yin Fengyue said fiercely. His cultivation level had fallen. Paying such a price was indeed too bleak. He was at the peak of the 9th level of the martial emperor realm, and was only one step away from becoming a martial honor. However, he was only at the 8th level of the martial emperor realm now. It would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens if he wanted to enter the 9th level of the martial emperor realm again. He could forget about becoming a martial honor in this lifetime. A fate worse than death. Yin Yujiao, that trash, also said the same thing. You still don't remember. Sword howl, heaven and earth. A cold voice rang out in the air. At the same time, a strange fluctuation appeared in the air, and a young man floated in the air. There was blood at the corner of his mouth, and his face was pale. A pill cauldron floated in front of him, and a crystal-clear sword was in his hand. The long sword emitted a shocking pressure, and the space trembled. Saint artifact. Saint artifact. It's actually a saint artifact. He actually didn't die. How did he dodge the attack of the light of divine might? I clearly saw him being destroyed by the light of divine might. Why isn't he dead yet? I didn't expect to have a saint artifact. Countless experts were shocked. Surviving under the light of divine might, and using a saint artifact. The might of a saint artifact was not inferior to the light of divine might in the slightest. Moreover, this was only the might of a saint artifact. If it were to be unleashed, its might would definitely be earth-shattering. Why didn't you die? Yin Fengyue was also shocked. Looking at the young man in the sky, this young man was actually an unkillable cockroach. In the air, sword intent raged. Li Lingtian stood proudly like a sharp sword between heaven and earth as his gaze turned serious. When the light of divine might struck earlier, the ice-fire 9 heavens had blocked it for a moment. It was this resistance that gave him some time. The heaven and earth creation cauldron was fully unleashed. Although the cauldron could not completely block the divine light, it was enough to give him time. He used the spatial banner and disappeared into the air. Even so, it had almost destroyed him. Now that his true essence had been exhausted, his injuries were extremely serious. After calming down in the air for a moment, when Yin Fengyue let down her guard, the Tianyu sword was unleashed. If I die, I won't be able to do as you wish. As he spoke, the sword intent of the Tianyu sword had already reached its limit. The sword Hell Heaven and Earth was also displayed, and a destructive sword intent appeared in the air. A sword light flashed past at an extremely fast speed. Even a martial royal realm expert's eyes could not keep up with the speed of the sword light. Crash! Tisk! In the air, the sword light directly tore through the space. With a slight sound, Yin Fengyue did not resist at all, nor did he move at all. As the sword radiance vanished, Li Lingtian's body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. All the warriors quieted down and watched in confusion as the sword light disappeared in the air. A trace of doubt appeared on his face. The shocking pressure and destructive sword light emitted by the saint artifact had actually disappeared just like that, while Yin Fengyue was still floating in the air. Just as all the warriors were puzzled, the quiet and calm Yin Fengyue revealed a look of fear. Her eyes were also puzzled, but gradually turned into despair. A miserable cry rang out, and it resounded throughout the world. Countless destructive sword lights erupted from Yin Fengyue's body, and then his body was twisted into countless pieces. It turned out that when the sword light of the sword Hell Heaven and Earth entered his body, the domineeringness of the Tianyu sword could kill people without the other party feeling a trace of it, nor was there a trace of blood. However, the sword light instantly destroyed Yin Fengyue's body. If it was destroyed from within, even a god would not be able to survive. Li Lingtian spat out another mouthful of blood. There was no more vital essence left in his body. He threw a pill into his mouth, and the true essence in his body instantly recovered to its peak. Countless low-level martial artists exclaimed in shock when they saw the situation in the sky. This situation was beyond their imagination. Not to mention them, even the martial royal realm expert, expressions changed drastically. The reversal of events was unexpected. Under the attack of the Saint weapon, the martial monarch powerhouse was also destroyed in the blink of an eye. The terrifying speed and power of this sword light was simply the nemesis of martial emperors. They could not imagine what kind of defense this world had that could withstand this destructive sword light. Fourth brother. Yin Wudi and Yin Luoyun could no longer care about the silver-winged flying dragon's attack. They shouted loudly, their faces filled with grief. The 4 brothers had been together for hundreds of years, and now 2 of them had fallen. Roar! The silver-winged flying dragon roared and quickly caught up. Even if I have to destroy you, I will kill you. Yin Wudi roared as he rushed over. The true essence in his entire body reversed, and the air trembled. He was fighting with all his might. Yin Luoyun did the same. He used a destructive forbidden technique. The 2 of them tore through space, one in front and one behind. Azura Hell! A terrifying hellish world appeared. Tens of thousands of destructive forces gathered together and tore through the space as they hurtled toward Li Lingtian. Burn my life force and destroy everything. Yin Luoyun's body started to burn rapidly. His blood essence and true essence continued to disappear. but the power of heaven and earth condensed together. In the blink of an eye, two destructive forces were hurtling toward Li Lingtian. All the martial artists were stunned. They did not expect that two peak ninth-level martial emperors would commit suicide. It was obvious that they had gone crazy. Two of his brothers had already been killed. If he didn't use Destruction Strike now, all four of them might be killed, let alone avenge his brother. What shocked countless experts even more was the destructive power in the air. This power had already exceeded the scope of a martial emperor. Even a first-level martial honored realm expert could only escape. Dragon Chi of the 3,000 worlds. Flaming sacred body. Ice soul martial soul. Ice river cracks, frost descends from the sky. Spatial imprisonment. True dragon body protection. Power of the flying dragon. When Li Lingtian saw the arrival of the two destructive forces, he was horrified to death. He had never seen such destructive forces before, and it was also his first time encountering such danger. He waved his hands continuously, casting several terrifying defenses in succession. At the same time, he forcefully used his divine consciousness to pull out the freezing meteorite from the divine dragon ring. Although the freezing meteor did not have much offensive or defensive power, it was not something that a martial royal realm expert could shake. However, it was also extremely difficult for him to take it out. In his eyes, two destructive forces quickly devoured him, and the glacier that he had cast instantly disappeared. The spatial imprisonment was also torn apart, and the two wyverns protecting the true dragon's body were also destroyed. The world of flames quickly collapsed. Only the dragon energy of the 3,000 worlds resisted the two destructive forces. However, the dragon energy had not been refined and could not be controlled. In the blink of an eye, the shocking destructive power tore apart the light shield protecting the true dragon. Seeing that they were about to fall, all the martial artists were stunned by everything in the air. At this moment, a pitch-black object with a radius of 100 meters appeared in the air. This pitch-black object gave off an unshakable feeling. Rumble! Rumble! The two devastating forces finally struck, but they did not hit Li Lingtian. Instead, they hit the pitch-black object in front of Li Lingtian. At the critical moment, the black object blocked Li Lingtian's path. Walla walla! The space was constantly torn apart, and the astral winds continued to wreak havoc. Ulta! The two of them screamed. Yin Wudi and Yin Luoyun screamed. The objects that their destructive power hit were like hitting a steel plate. All the power disappeared. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.